funny you say that. What caught my looking at YouTube, and what caught my attention was the nuclear fusion center in France that they're building. It's the largest construction.
It's coming back because of AI.
Well, the fusion, yeah, the fusion. I think they're working on it like 10 years.
It's way safer.
Yeah, and the just the magnitude of the project.
Big mega projects are going on.
What in the world?
It's faster, like real engineers, the lines,
Hello, Steve.
and the precision.
What are you trying to do? Minimize or maximum?
Nah, just pop that up and turn the screen on. I'm not doing any screen shares or anything like that, so.
They have sensors that detect the
Lost
motion.
in
What?
The magnets.
Bruising.
Yeah. Sure.
And if you keep an eye on somebody coming in, pastries are coming. All right, you guys ready? Sorry for being late. I'm very tired, so I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I'm riding my horsey today for a little
Is
bit.
that chair meant for that?
Yes.
It's awesome.
Oh, this is a really, really good chair. So you can stand up with your stand-up desk. This raises, and there's like pretty much any position you want to do. This chair can do it. If you want to have it this way to type, or if you just need something to stand on, or lean.
How would you stand on it there?
Well, you don't stand on the chair, but if you have, which one is it? This shifts back,
Oh, I see what you're
and then you
saying.
have the stand-up feature, so if you want to, sometimes when you're standing for a period of time,
On Amazon or kind of?
I think everything's
Is it called backwards chair? That's the first time I've ever seen it.
I don't know. I'd have to look. I'll tell you what, it was like an arm, leg, and a kidney, as far as like what it cost. Yeah. It was
Like in 4 figures?
not quite 4, but I want to say it was 4K-ish at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, well, good chairs, good office chairs are up there.
Yeah. I don't like to go higher than like a used Herman Miller chair. Like I really, I think those are worth the investment. They're,
Especially if you're sitting down.
yeah. I'll do that, but even that, you can get a used one, and used just means somebody decked out their office in these things and realized they couldn't pay their rent. And then they've been sat in maybe once, and I can get it for, I guess, 900 to 1,200, normally maybe 28.
Backwards chair.
Yeah.
Oh, it's by the right?
But it's,
Well, I get things.
if you have the Amazon app, you should be able to use the camera on the top, take a picture of it, and it'll pull it up. If I had to guess right now, I'd say it's about $1,000.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the name. Yeah, and at the time it was like 4-ish something, and it came out at the same time as some of the first stand-up desks. Yeah, now you can get a really, really nice stand-up desk delivered and assembled from Amazon.
Let's go.
For like $7.
With the treadmill?
The chair.
I don't know about you guys, I think I'm too clumsy for those.
The treadmill
I
desk?
hold on to the rails of the treadmill, and I'm on the treadmill still. But these other treadmills, they have these, they're just pads. They're just tracks on the ground. There's nothing to rib. You just stand up there and these people work, and I'm just amazed. I'm like, wow, there's like undercover Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, the whole,
Office workers, like I'd hurt myself on
the
that.
whole walking and chewing gum.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Especially when you zone out and forget, like, hey, you're on a treadmill.
Yeah, and I would zone out. I did the world's most popular clothes hanger, also known as the Peloton. I did that. I got one of the last ones in before they sold out when COVID was hitting, and I rode it about 4 times. And you know what the Peloton, as expensive as it is? Anybody here have a Peloton? All I wanted to do was be on the webinars that I was going to take and watch YouTube stuff that I wanted to watch while cycling.
Right.
You can't do that with Peloton. You can't get YouTube.
Connect.
No, it doesn't work like that. You could watch their instructors.
What's their stuff?
You could watch their stuff. You could watch like the first version of Google Earth being mapped in any country almost in the world, like frame by frame, like Oregon Trail type stuff. But you can't really do anything with that big, beautiful monitor they have. Yeah. and
Did you have the monthly?
Still have them.
You still have the
I'm
monthly.
paying the monthly.
Sounds like a low-hanging fruit.
I still pay the monthly too, to this day. Right, it sits right next to my Planet Fitness.
Do you have the mirror? Do you have the?
I think I'm still paying for Porky's, I don't know.
Do you have the Lululemon mirror also?
Probably. But I still have it, and every time I'm like, let me call them and just say, I can't find my card, I don't know my username, I don't know all this. And then I call them and they won't speak to me, and since I give them my credentials. So I'm just calling them, I get frustrated, I'm gonna call the bank and I'm gonna do a charge back, and I'm gonna put a stop charge, and the bank will tell me for $80, they'll make sure it doesn't get charged. And the next month, I get charged for $1 less. So it will only block the specific dollar amount that's coming through, and Peloton will charge you less to push the charge through. So I get frustrated. I guess if I hired a specialist. Yeah, crazy. All right, so again, messages, we got a lot more people coming, but this is the beginner hour. Today's topic, for those who haven't been here, also for speaking specifically to Focus World, this is our beginner hour from 1 to 2 p.m. So any questions you have, great questions for this hour are things like, I don't know what I don't know. It's too late to start, like nothing is too beginner. And then 2 to 3 p.m. we have our topic, 2 to 3:30 we have our topic of the week. We'll probably wrap up around 3 if there's not a lot of questions. Because I like to, anytime I go to a trade show or a conference, we all can attend for different reasons, to give kind of like a breakdown of what I learned from it. You know, since we go to Vegas, would I go back? And just takeaways from the event that we can apply. So even though you didn't make it, you can make use of it.
Looks like your mic is not working.
Carlos's mic is not working. The only mic that really needs to work. Now it works right.
Move your drills out.
Fixed. Did he say fixed? No, it should be.
We used to fix, like, 2 sets,
Roll, let me know if this works.
like punch them
Yeah, so you'll let me know. Feels weird wearing a white shirt. For those who've never seen me in a white shirt. I was not planning on wearing this white shirt today, but I did not have a black one. To be honest, I'm so uncomfortable not wearing a black shirt, I considered canceling. That's really how uncomfortable. No. But I feel almost naked wearing this white shirt. The only reason it's in existence is my video person decided they wanted to just show me in some different shirts, at least on the videos. Part of the deal was not me wearing it to meetups. Here you go. You will not see it again. Let's see. So yeah, that's going to be today's topic of the week. And then again, we're in our beginner hour. As you can see right here, we're redoing a lot of the banners that go over here. But these are our sponsors that you see here at the bottom in this like NASCAR ticker. Again, I'll answer your question in a second, Steve, about trade shows that I'm going to. You're going to see them down there. We say no to more sponsors than we say yes. So we're blessed to be in a position like that. But the pastelitos, the coffee, this place, and a lot of other things we do, we would not be able to pull off free. And we, meaning my team, myself, my wife, my son, who's probably going to be joining us today, who's 7. That's probably, if he really likes you, he will share one of his gummy worms with you. That's a good sign. But we wouldn't be able to do this for free. And honestly, God, my wife's amazing, but if it was up to her, everyone would need to pay to come in, because she feels like she's giving up Saturdays with me. And having these sponsors helps us a lot. If you're working with a sponsor, if you're working with a competitor or one of these sponsors, I'm not saying that you should cancel them. Lord knows there's a few of them that I don't work with just because it would be such a pain migrating from my current marketing stack to some of these tools to work with them. But in the case that I'm not working with one of these, I've reached out to a few of you and I said, hey, I'm getting you a free license to this thing. I need you to stress test it for me and give me some honest feedback. But again, if you're working with a competitor, I'm not saying switch, but if you see them at a trade show, go up and say hi to them, take a selfie, tag them on social media. It helps. Like, we really wouldn't be able to pull off the amount of stuff that we do without them. The banners you see over there in the corner for Toastmasters every Thursday morning, we have I guess you'd say public speaking event chapter called the Route Toastmasters. I gotta point this guy out because he's here. I don't know when he'll come back, but do you know the Purple Squirrel? Some of you guys have come up to me and said how impressed you are after a meetup. I was able to talk for so long, we're all able to talk. That's why I look up to him when it comes to public speaking. So that guy's a G. If you get a chance to talk to him at the end, definitely do it. But yeah, it's every Thursday from 7:30, 7:25, 7:30 to roughly 8:30. Very punctual. So surprisingly, if we do go over by a few minutes, it's only a few minutes, and that's kind of crazy in Miami. So very impressive. Even if you don't want to speak on stage, it's still perfect for you. Someone pointed out a super obvious thing to me a few weeks ago, and public speaking is just speaking in public, and we all do that. So this is public, side is public. If you're speaking out there, it's technically speaking in public. So that's a little easier to digest, and we'll go from there. Yep.
The founder of Toastmasters is a 100-year-old organization. Ralph Spending said that all speaking is public speaking.
All speaking is public speaking. So he just spoke public. What else? Mentioned sponsors. Steve mentioned what events we're going to. I have been really trying to get good at saying no over the last few years. I was on this decade-long thing of yes to everything. It's a lot harder to do than you think. So I've limited the amount of conferences that I go to per year to about 3, maybe 4, so quarterly is what I try to do, versus the every other week thing. My biggest problem with that is you need time to, my biggest problem with going too often to conferences is you need time. Like, let's say you go to a conference and you learn something. You need time to execute on it, fail at it a bunch, get better at it, maybe turn it into a system in your business, float it by your mentor. Like, there's a lot that needs to happen. And if you're constantly getting bombarded with new ideas, I really don't think we're built for that. The other thing is, well, it's great networking. I think there's such a thing as too much of something sometimes too. If you're going to another city and networking with hundreds of people every other week, again, I don't know how much value you're getting out of that in your business or personal life. So that, and my kids were born 5 and 7, and trying to prioritize things a little better. So I've narrowed it down to about 3 or 4, trying to pick the 3 or 4 most important. One of those is coming up in November called PLMA, Chicago Private Label Manufacturers Association. I won't miss that one. It's a great opportunity to find suppliers for new brands that we want to sell, manufacturers in the USA. And yes, I do love this country, but it's not out of a sense of like patriotism. And I also love great positive cash flow and profit margins. So the majority of my brands have come from China. I'm not anti-anything. But I do love the idea of not having to travel to China to see my supplier, and instead traveling to any other state in the U.S. besides Minnesota in the winter. You know, like I really love that. And every time I go to China, I get sick. I'm not a big fan of mainland China Chinese food, which is nothing like what you're eating here at Chang's. Absolutely nothing like it. Not even the special fried rice. So there's a lot of advantages to that. Also, PLMA, the manufacturers that are there, you're seeing the products that they made for their brand. The only reason they've got into this white labeling, meaning they'll make those products for you, is because they have a lot of machinery, and when it's not running, it's not making them money. So you get to see the quality and expertise they have with the products they have and leverage that. Kind of like if you go to Publix and you see Publix ketchup, I know some of the times they're actually building this out themselves, but I don't think Publix has a ketchup factory. They're probably teamed up with Heinz. And Heinz is running their machines. You can get, they'll make Publix ketchup. So like, just don't quote me on that exact one with ketchup, but it's like that. So very competitive minimum order quantities, very competitive pricing, and one-stop shop for US-based manufacturers. That's if you're a private label seller. If you're the type of Amazon seller here who's a reseller, maybe you feel like you don't have the funds to start your own brand. Instead, you're really good at, say, relationship building, and instead want to, what's the name, SegPay? The thermos SegPay?
You know CoCreate?
Huh?
You know CoCreate?
No, it says it right there.
Yeah, it's the company I'm working for.
Okay. He's like, oh my God, how do you know SegPay? So if you see that SegPay thermoses are, what's the thermos that's super popular right now and it's like criminally
Yeti?
expensive?
Yeti.
Yeti. So Yeti thermoses or SegPay, let's say you have a great relationship with them, or one of them's in the construction industry, you've known them for years, and you realize this is like the gatekeeper here for being able to resell Yeti thermoses. And Yeti thermoses sell thousands per day on Amazon. You can just open an account with them and resell those thermoses. You don't need to run ads, there's no fancy marketing. It's really just piggybacking on some existing success and all of Yeti's great marketing. And people that just prefer shopping on Amazon stores. Well, at PLMA, these same brands that I just described, say you're looking at all of their jerky and you want to make your own line of jerky. Is somebody calling us here for the last time? Somebody said, excuse me, sometimes people go right outside and it's a little dark and they won't hit the ring doorbell or anything. You stand there and be like, oh, I waited long enough, and then the rule is they get to keep what they didn't deliver. Okay. So you see the jerkies, you're thinking about making your own line of jerky, but if you're a reseller, you see the jerkies and you just look the jerky up on, let's say Amazon or wherever it's being resold, and you look it up on Amazon and you're like, wow, it's like nobody's selling this thing and it has a lot of sales velocity. I'd like to be one of those sellers. Start a relationship with them right there. Don't say, hey, I'm an Amazon seller, can I buy your products and sell on Amazon? Act like you're bringing some value to the world, that, fake, at least fake, like you're curious about how their brand started and that you care about jerky. Don't say, I'm an Amazon seller, plant-based, can I make money reselling it? You know what I mean? Like, put something into it. Invite them to dinner. You'd be shocked how much that still works. Because everyone knows about it, but no one actually does it. So PLMA is one of the ones I'm going to. Another one, which kind of passed not too long ago, is Craft and Commerce. Craft and Commerce for me replaced probably 4 conferences in the past. Traffic and Conversion, which has since closed down, Social Media Marketing World, Content Marketing World. All of those have pretty much consolidated into Craft and Commerce. They haven't consolidated, but what you would have learned in each one of them respectively is now taught at Craft and Commerce. It is in Boise, Idaho. If you've not been to Boise, Idaho, you'd be pleasantly surprised at how amazing Boise, Idaho is. I was not ready for that. I thought I was in the Twilight Zone. I was like, everyone was just nice, and they yielded. I mean, car could be way, this car's slowing down way ahead so you can pass. No, help you carry your stuff across the road. It's really small. Some of the best coffee, better than Seattle, some of the best coffee shops. They had coffee flights. They had coffee sampler flights. You just go in there and try a flight of coffee and you leave wired, right? Like, imagine if La Carreta had flights of like different, that's what it's like. Imagine if La Carreta had 8 flights and you did 8 shots. And just to experiment the flight, you just leave like, buzzing, ready to get on a scooter with it. It's a motor or manual, like you're ready. And it's great. Highly recommend it. Flight kind of sucks. Getting there kind of sucks. It's not a lot of options to get to Boise from here. But so Craft and Commerce is another one. And what will be the third one that I have on my radar now? Oh,
The one you came back from?
the whole Boise event today. Yeah, CoCreate. CoCreate's going to make my list. I'm going to save some of the whys on CoCreate because it's going to be part of the topic today. But it checked every box. every single box that you would want checked. I would also say the types of people that go to CoCreate, you don't see them in any other conferences. I loved it. I got to sit there and have like a several hour long conversation with the founder of Priceline and Booking.com, which is the same person, and it was just fascinating. An amount of shrimp that I'm not sure I can tell my trainer about with David John, and just really some really fascinating people at that event, and it was really good. I also got to speak several times at that event. I got to be a judge. I thought I was going to absolutely hate this, but since they're paying for all your stuff to go speak, anything they kind of ask for after that, it's like, yeah, you're going to hold the sign, I'll hold your sign. I'm going to say yes to everything, just out of like, I feel morally obligated to do. You need help sweeping up afterwards, I'm there, like that's how I am. And this was, we need you to be a judge as part of several judges where these brands come up and they pitch their product. You have an iPad and you need to rate them based on would you support them? Would you invest in the company? I lit up. I didn't realize how much, but think about it, that's what we do when we're networking after this, and it's like, I got this business idea. And then everyone comes at this from different angles, and I got to do this live on stage, talking to brand owners who I'd say very prepared to answer them. Saw some really cool products. Winner won $400,000. So not small stakes. Really good stuff. I think it was 400. I got to meet a really cool company out of Tampa, which is girl cupcakes. What is it? Girl cake is what it's called. The husband gets on there with this pink camo tactical vest, ex-cop. You know, when you see it at first, you're kind of like, it's 2025, so like you can't really, are you supposed to laugh? Is this legit? Is he identifying as, you know what I mean? Like, so you just go like you have to act like it's kind of normal that you're wearing a pink tactical vest and you look like, you know, a linebacker, right? So I'm just like, okay, but man, super cool. They actually made it to that late event at the end. Really good people. Even though it's sugary, I think I'll go by and support their business next time I go to Canada. So yeah, those would be the three. I'm open to exploring something, but I'm not open to going to any conferences anymore if I'm not crystal clear on the objective as to why. And a whole bunch of people I know is going to be there, my competitors are going to be there. That's not enough for me anymore. I need to know that, I need to be able to say, I'm going there to learn X. And if I'm successful in learning X, I have the bandwidth when I get back to implement on it. If I don't, it's a no. It's just a hard pass. I'd rather watch paint dry. You know, like I've done that too often. So those would be my three C's. Questions?
Carlos, to that point, some people make it a goal to read 50 books a year, 40 books a year. And I say, man, read one per quarter and implement it. I've forgotten so much that I've read 50 books. You can't implement or read everything.
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
And I'm making
Yeah.
reading, sleep, and conferences have been three major areas I want to change. I've bragged for years on how many years I did 3 to 4 hours of sleep per night. I do 5 to 6 books per month. I do, you know, and the conferences, I'm at every other week, I'm sharpening the axe, and I got a coach, or several coaches said enough, and I was just like, no. And my thing was, I'd rather listen to Atomic Habits in the car than Britney Spears. But the thing is, if you listen to 6 types of Atomic Habits, so you might be better off listening to some Britney Spears, like just like cleaning the palate. Yeah, you know, like I force in some fiction, you know, just is that but yeah, I took a step back to get back to reading more like a human and implementing on it, like I'm approaching conferences, which means my total book count consumed is going to go down dramatically, but I think I'm going to grow a lot more because of what's Yeah, really good one there. Yeah, I did that for years, 5 to 6 books per month. And I'm wondering how many people I said that to already went through that painful process and just looked at me like, you idiot. You idiot. I want to get back to highlighting stuff in books and looking stuff up. Yeah, it's a great process. But and sleep, it's a non-negotiable 7 hours now. It's just too much. If I was just taking boxes together in my business and shipping stuff out, I'd do that. Since my businesses are now pretty much what moves the needle the most is the decisions that I'm making in those businesses, and I think I need to make those decisions with a rested mind. So I recommend that to all of you. Any of you that have heard me say about my 5, 6 books a month or 3 to 4 hours a night, and they're trying to model me, I'm sorry. Switch it up. I make mistakes. Okay, we're in the beginner hour. What is happening with OSC 26 to 27? Great question, Steve. So I do need to bring that up in the announcements. We have an annual event called Online Seller Cruise. We get together as a pretty massive group, and we leave out of Miami. It's been on Carnival for the last 8 years, and we go out we did it 8 days once. We had too many complaints at the wall. The people that complained about the 8-day cruise were complaining on day 1 and day 2. Those same people on day 7, day 8 were complaining about how unfair it was that a drink pass could be maxed out and how this trip went by so fast. So but still, it was 8 days. We cap them at 7. Every now and then it's a 6, but it's 7. We need at least 3 days at sea. When we're at sea, we have workshops, we have conferences, we have workshops, we have presentations, intentional breakout sessions. And since my strong suit is not entertainment in like the fun way that you would think, I let Carnival do all that. Days that we stop at an island, that's the day for you and your significant other to go out, or you to do whatever you want. But we always say, hey, the group's gonna be here just in case you wanna go over there. I've heard nothing but amazing things about that event. The back end of that event is an absolute dumpster fire to put together. It's one of the hardest things I think I do. There's a major disconnect, and this is across all the ships that I've attempted to work with. There's a major disconnect between the time you book the cruise and the people who are actually going to be working on the ship when you go on the ship. They don't have something like, hey, can I just buy 100 cabins? And then as my people come through, give them those cabins. You can only get the 100 cabins if you have the full names for each of the people that are going to go in those cabins. So the problem is this: you book the cruise, you know you're going to have a big turnout, you know you need a big room for the presentations and workshops, but you can't secure that space until you show you've sold X amount of cabins. And in the e-commerce space, there's something that's infuriating to me. But I just heard people say it. My friend Carmen says this. She's open about it, but she says, I'd rather pay more and book it the last second to have the flexibility to just not go if I decide to. But cool. Problem is I need to book space. So that has always been bad. So every year, and I don't share that with you guys because you guys just don't want stress in running an event. But this year it needs to be said. Every year we're a few days from going sailing, and we still don't have a secure spot to have our presentations and our workshops. So it's extremely stressful that everyone's going to get on there, and I'm going to say, hey guys, sorry, you booked your tickets, you took your time off from work, the speakers you want to hear, we're not going to be able to do that part of the event. And somehow we pull her out of our hat, we make it happen. One year it was in a piano bar. They shut down the piano bar, like a big piano in the middle, which I thought was fantastic. And we all packed the place. But at some point you're paying for a ticket, you want to see something, there is a level that we're expecting, not a huge piano. So this year, there was an art dealer and I think gymnastics company that booked out all the spaces. They got sufficient cabins, they booked them out. They didn't tell us anymore, hey, we'll see what you can do when you get on the ship. They said, no, there is none. So I was left with very few options, and we canceled the sailing before the non-refundable period would happen. Otherwise, some people would have been left with like money stuck in the cabin. Within the next 2 weeks, we're going to have the next sailing date. So anybody that needs to roll their cabin into the other sailing, they'll have it. The other bit of good news is Carnival has finally, because of this, and because of how long we've sailed with them, they made an exception that we're now going to be able to buy a block of cabins without having the names, and it count towards a security rooms. So everything should be smooth sailing in the future, but that's where we're at. Thanks, Steve. Speaking of futures in China, there will be, we also have 2 group China trips per year, April and October. We'll go as a group primarily to Canton Fair, which is the absolute largest trade show. No, it's not a trade show, it'll be a conference/trade show in the world. The show itself is like a small city, and this city gets set up. You do it for 3-4 days, which is impossible to cover the whole thing, and then in a way that I think you can only see in China, the entire thing is broken down in 48 hours, and the next segment assembled again in 48 hours. You go in for each one's 3 or 4 days, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. We do that as a group. We've not done it, I think we've only done it once since COVID. Well, we haven't done it since COVID because there was a period of time afterwards that we weren't really liking the news coming out of there, and just to play it safe. But the goal is that we will restart that in April. That trip's going to be spearheaded by Raul, who's part of our team, and most of you know. And he's currently in Venezuela. He just went back to Venezuela. But Raul has a lot of experience with that. We'll be running it. I'll probably go on the first 1 or 2. But to not be hypocritical in what I was saying, that I'm trying to keep my trips down to 4, I don't plan on going to China for 6 weeks of the year, twice, 3 weeks and 3 weeks, twice a year anymore. So I'm going to go just to make sure everything gets started and it's going great, and to make sure it's a good event. But Raul will be spearheading it. So we definitely plan on presuming that. And with a lot of the information that I got from Alibaba CoCreate, I think those events are going to be even bigger. While we're over there, besides being at Canton Fair, we do Hong Kong Mega, we do Cross Border Summit. Chris Davey hosts the largest Amazon seller meetup in China. Chris Davey puts on a really, really good event 3 times while we're over there. So we'll do that. And every single night that we're over there, we have a planned meetup to kind of debrief what we learned that day at the show. If anyone's stuck with anything, you can help with it. I've always made these events 100% free. I plan on keeping it that way. Free means you still buy your own plane ticket, your own wine, your own massages, whatever you're into. I'm just saying we don't charge for the expertise of helping you navigate and everything over there. There is a very small chance that we might put like a $50 thing in place for this one. And the reasoning for that is less about getting $50. But what happens is I set up factory tours, some of the factories that I work with, and moving that many people together is a bit challenging. So what happens is I see everyone that's going, and I wind up needing to coordinate for a lot of vehicle space. And I'm asking people who wants to go. Nobody answers because you're busy in China and overloaded. I suspect that $50 will be enough skin in the game that you will at least answer. And if you don't, at least I didn't eat a whole bunch of extra space booking those misses. So something tells me $50 will be good. So if you see that, don't think I'm, there you go, that's making a joke, Bruce. So I'm not selling out, but I have been burned by this about a dozen times. I'd like to stay a quick learner. So it's just so everyone can be more organized, and I know who's going, and it just makes for a better experience. So thanks for that question. Final one 1, some of you received emails. Our cohort number 2 is nearly packed, which is our Amazon Accelerator. We, I think, have 4 more seats. So if anyone winds up being interested in that, this isn't a fake scarcity tactic. It will sell out. I cap it. That's why it sells out, because I need the classes to be small. If you remember the class, is it a great class? It was a great class. And a lot of people in there already have a very big, very active email list. Everyone's pretty clear on the product they're already really selling, and we accomplished that in under 6 weeks. So it's a pretty amazing accelerator, and it's where I'm trying to put all my love and attention into to help as many people get their goals. Okay. Now, instead of a beginner hour, we're at a beginner 20 minutes. Who's got any questions in the world of Amazon or in their business that I can help out with? Tim?
Yeah, so we recently, we are sourcing the packaging from China, and we are getting samples. Ever since our first project is the hanger, and we haven't touched anything from China yet. So the question is.
Hold on one second, Tim. Let me get this to you. This is a good question that you're asking, and
I always have good questions.
that's what I meant to say. That's what I meant to say. Good catch, Ting.
Thank you so much.
Gino, you're surprised if I tell you those are sugar-free, right?
Wow.
Not really knowing the healthcare that you're on.
No. And that's what everybody has. Sugar-free, carb-free, pastellitos.
That would be illegal.
Sorry, Tim, go ahead.
What did I say? Yes, since our first project to the hanger, and we haven't sourced anything from China yet. So this time we're getting some samples from different suppliers, and I sent it to my agent, consolidate the samples. So she was charging me this amount of money, the value of it itself, like she labeled for $25. How come the tax rate is like nearly 100%? How did that happen?
So about tariffs?
Yeah. I just, because we have concerns that our
De
first,
minimis.
huh?
De minimis is gone, correct? It's been about 2.5 weeks now, so you may have been taking advantage of, we all were taking advantage of the de minimis rule. So one of the price differences you might see is those things no longer are covered by de minimis, so now you're being charged. But it's been about 2.5 weeks.
Is that means we, because our first order from the vendor overseas in China, we'll consider getting like a certain amount, gonna do air freight. Is that means we're gonna pay triple of the price? Because we'll have to do the budget. I don't know any numbers just yet.
That's going to be really difficult for me to answer. What I do anytime, anyone, anywhere, this isn't like just Chinese. I ask, if someone just gives me this quote and it's for more than one thing, I ask them to break out how they reached it. In this case, you're talking about the cost of samples.
Yeah,
It seems like there's some service involved there because someone's consolidating it.
yeah,
And then you have freight. And then you
Yes.
have tariffs. Right, so a lot of the times I'll get a quote and I'll be like, kind of high. But when I have it break it out, I realize their rates are great on 3 of those points, but their freight is just out of control now. So then I just ask them to give me a quote for just those 3 things, and I'll handle my own freight. So if he or she can break out what those expenses are, like break down how
Yeah.
they reached it, then I
Yeah.
can answer that better.
okay. And for follow-up question, let's say we are going to order,
Also, I mean, that's something, I don't know if anyone else is dealing with this, because I think Tim, you and I spoke about this. You pay tariffs on things that you're reselling, like that you're gonna sell.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of people that do this, but I'll tell you what first, let me tell you a little kind of story. So like, I exited a brand called Seaverans at one time, and it was me and somebody else, and we started a hair brand, right? And before we sold the brand, we were gonna get into hair accessories. And one of these accessories is there's like, at the time, it was the #1 selling, I think it's a hair iron straightener by a brand called Cheap. So we wanted to make a competitive product to the Cheap. And it's a it looks like tongs,
Flat.
flat iron. And we wanted to make this thing without, this was very early stage. We didn't know if this thing had, we didn't know it had patents. If so, what was patented? We knew the brand was trademarked, but we wanted to just really break this thing down. So we started looking online for people that could make this level of quality of packaging. We found someone. A bit of a miscommunication going on. And they said they could supply us this. And I was confused, and it was like, I know, I'm asking you for packaging. But no, they could supply us the cheap hair irons and the cheap packaging. At that point, I was like, there's no way this random hole in the wall in China is able to supply authentic cheap hair irons and cheap packaging. But this person was so, and we found this person through a referral from somebody we've done a lot of business with in China. So this person didn't see us as just some random person. They were like, we want to do business with Carlos. So they didn't even charge us for the sample. They sent it to us. Next thing you know, we get a call from like Customs and Border Patrol that we basically have received a counterfeit item. Like we've been shipped, and we just explained everything. Like, hey, we'll show you all the communication we have. It was a miscommunication. We were able to like cut through everything and say, hey, as a matter of fact, keep it, destroy it. Like we're not. So the guy gave us a tip, and it said it is quite common that someone might get a competitor's packaging made by a supplier to see if they could come. It's Heather. My son's going to be hanging out with us today. My beautiful daughter and wife and one. Pick whoever you want to sit with. Yeah. Get it to them. Mom calls me. Tell her that. Or tell her that you told that. Oh, you sit out here? Angie, you don't kiss her a lot? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm skating here. I gotta talk to you. Don't worry.
I'm not normally a phone dad, but I think tariff talk might not really catch his attention. Okay, so it's commonplace to get these factories to make the competitor's packaging so that you could compare it. But when you do that, you need to state that on the commercial invoice that was coming through. And what you needed to put was sample, not for resale. And if you put sample, not for resale, you didn't get charged any of this other stuff. So I'm still doing that with samples to this day, and I'm not getting hit with any tariffs. Now, before you think you're the first person now that's going to order your full order on a container with sample, not for resale, they're not idiots. It's not a way to get around tariffs. But it is a way that you can get around receiving some samples and not getting gouged. But you do need to put that. If the verbiage has changed much, and maybe I'm just getting lucky, that's possible, to talk to your broker and just see, just explain what's going on. But you shouldn't be paying fees for stuff that's going to be sold here that's not going to be sold. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you for the tip.
What else do you have? Candace, I got a question.
I have a couple of
Let's do it.
Okay, hi, so.
Candace? Candace.
Oh.
I saw it hitting the coffee.
I know, well, it's almost empty. What's my first question? Hi, everyone. Good to see you. Okay, well, one question I did have, two things, quick, about Amazon influencer program. Like out of nowhere, I saw these two big drops, but I'm not seeing a return. Why?
You saw what?
Like my monthly number, and then out of nowhere, it was like $50 less, and then like $12 or $13 less, but I'm not seeing a return.
It might not come up until the next.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not instant. As a matter of fact, what you normally see is usually not instant.
What I always see is if you got more or nothing. But I guess I guess.
So you had like $100 coming to you, and then extra $50.
No, it was like $205, I know, right? It was like 205, and then it was like, I was all excited because I want to beat last month, right? And then it was like 158, and I'm like, okay. And then I checked it today, it was 144. And I looked back, like in the history, you can go back, I don't see anything. Oh. Okay, anyways.
Still 154.
It's fine. I'm trying, but I have a lot more, so I'm trying to beat last month's number. More videos, but it's okay. Anyway, let me ask you something a little more important. So my product is out. It's getting amazing reviews, which I'm really excited about.
Send me the link and reminder too, so I can find it.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so all 5 stars, except one was a 4-star, which I don't know why. He thought it was great. It was from a guy. Guys don't love my product. No, it's just cool. It's not for a guy. Then I got 3 stars. Fine, but the problem, one of the 3 stars, one of something on the glass, it came off. So I'm like, shit. But she has a video for it. So her negative, and she's like, oh my God, I love it. This is so beautiful.
Review is it?
Huh?
A 1-star?
No, it's a 3. I have 3 3s, 1 4, and everything 5. So my average is 4.6.
Okay.
My competitor's 4.6. I would like it to be 4.7, but it's fine. So anyway, and thank you for your great advice with getting as many guys. If anyone, when you do Vine, they like, I was like, oh, I'm only gonna do like, I was trying to just like save money. Like I'm only gonna do like 10 reviews, and him and it was someone, Raul too, was like, do the 30. He's right. Like pay the $200. It's really worth it. I'm so thankful that I did the 30 reviews. Anyway, so my question to you is, I'm going in my account, and I see you can contact people because I've been contacted. Something was defective a few months ago, and I actually changed the review. Even though I didn't love the product, they sent me a new one, I sold it, and I changed it, and I said, great customer service, whatever. But the problem is this one girl who she did love the product, and she's like, oh, something was like broken in spirit, right? I can't contact her.
Something was broken in what?
She said like her Vine, like review is 3 stars. I love this. Oh my God, it's perfect. It's beautiful. One of them came broken in spirit. So on her video, I have a couple of nice videos, and then that's what it says. So I have a video that's showing something not great, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like let me contact her. Let me try to fix it. But when you go into your reviews and you try to contact, some are not contactable.
Yeah, but I don't think any of your Vines are contactable.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a Vine reviewer.
Yeah.
And Vine reviewer means that it's an invite-only program where
Yeah.
Amazon, I've just always I've always liked reviewing, not only negative reviews, but I'm a Yelper.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, positive reviews. My way of giving you a negative review is I don't give you more business, and I don't need you to review. So I think all of that got me into this program where we get 8 products for free per day from Amazon to be able to review. You don't just go in there and say, Weber Grill, it has to be stuff that brands have put in there, they're trying to launch, and they're trying to get those initial reviews. But what happens is Vine reviews carry a lot more weight, usually, than regular reviews. So there was a lot of sellers trying to contact these Vine reviewers and offer them like, trying to play into the whole like reciprocity thing. Like, here's all these gifts and everything like that. I'd love to if you kept me in mind for future product launches. So people will build like a stable of Vine reviewers that they can go to. I have Vine reviewers at the end of the day are human. And you're sending me all these gifts and iPads and stuff like that. That's going to influence my review for you. Even if it means not leaving you a review that would have been 1 star. So Amazon at some point shut off the ability for, there used to be a published list of who all the Vine reviewers were. They took it down, and they stopped the Vine reviewers from being able to be contacted. Now, what I'm not sure of is I don't know if it's all Vine reviewers.
See, I'm trying to log on now, but I'm 99% sure, 95. Some people I was able to contact. This one was, you can't, and I'm like.
Okay, so what that happens also is some buyers on Amazon opt to not be able to be contacted.
Right.
Because when you send a buyer a message and you ask them for a review, they've already been contacted. If you look in your message history to see how many times you're actually contacted per order you place and it's quite a bit. They give you updates of the status of the ship and it's on the way and all this stuff, so people don't want more of that. So some people just opt to not do it, and in that case, there's nothing you can do.
That's not the answer I wanted.
I know. Look, the only strategy, the only really two strategies you have when it comes to like reviews that you don't want. And one of them is drowning negative reviews out with positive.
Yeah,
Right? And the other one is looking at the feedback and seeing, do I need to improve something in my business and in my product?
Right.
Not all these people who leave negative reviews are sabotaging your product.
Right.
Right?
right.
I will say, what I do for reviews is I don't think I mentioned this story before, but one of the first brands I started was a brand of cigar accessories, a brand called Dos Caballos Cigars. And we had cigars, we were selling cigars on Amazon, we were selling cigar cutters. This is back when I was selling, this is like early stages when I was not full-time into doing this. I'm selling cigars at Cuban Crafters, which is like off by 736. Used to be a baby center, I don't know if you remember that, by Magic City Casino. And I got these redwood guillotine cigar cutters. And I'm selling these. They go great. So I contact my supplier, I want green ones too, so green wood, and orange wood, blue wood, we do all these different colors. And then, I don't know anything at this stage. They all come in this black box that have my logo on the top. But there's no outside identifier saying that it's an orange one or a green one. So you kind of just hope they all stayed separated. If there was time.
That's not like you, Carlos.
There was a lot that wasn't like that before. Me is a whole bunch of lumps over the last 16 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this guy orders 10 cigar cutters. This is huge.
From the store?
From my Amazon store.
Oh, from Amazon, okay.
Yeah, there's 10 redwood cigar cutters. And that's a big deal for me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting ribeye. You know what I mean? That means I'm getting ribeye, whether it's on sale or not. You know what I mean? So I get this order, I ship them all this stuff immediately. Because as soon as I'm ready to ship it, I get paid back then. That's how that worked on Amazon. Not waiting. I ship it out. This guy left me a review calling me, this, you know how hard it would be to write a 6-paragraph review about a cigar cutter? This guy called me Harry with a child of God. Right? And what it was, is I shipped this guy pretty much 2 of each color that I have.
Yeah.
And he was celebrating the 10-year anniversary of his cigar club, one of the biggest. This guy gets featured in Cigar Aficionado. I didn't know this. He's got one of the biggest cigar clubs in the United States. Guess what his club's called? The Redwood Humidor. They were going to take a group picture. Imagine what that looks like with non-redwood cigar colors. I ruined everything. This guy made it sound like the world was going to end because of what I did. And I thought, and back then your summer reviews, like that had an immediate impact on your sales. So I contacted this guy and decided to kind of like know myself. And this has really had a big impact on everything else I've done in business moving forward. I contacted the person immediately. I responded immediately. I offered, and I want you to get this and kind of craft it into your own response that you do, or all of you do, with whoever you're working with or customer service comes into play. And even if your goal is, I don't know what the screen is, I didn't see it there. I think it's also these people. Sales. So what I did immediately.
Take the microphone, like,
Yeah. Pick your card. I just had that in the beginning. I'm wondering if anything, I'll just bring one of those cubes over here. So, contacted immediately. I let him know that to please send me his ship-to address so I can send him 10 of the correct cigar cutters immediately at no additional charge. That I was not going to inconvenience him with returning those 10 cigar cutters. At the end of the day, it costs about $1 on each one, right? Forget that they sold for $20-something. But it wouldn't have mattered. I'm not going to inconvenience you with having to return these cigar cutters. You can keep them, you can resell them, do whatever you want. We normally do a pre-shipment inspection process to make sure the correct orders go out. I obviously dropped the ball in this one. I'm going to look into see what happened, and I'm going to follow up with you, let you know what we figured out and how this will never happen again. The person responded. I never mentioned anything about the review. He responded that he'd removed the review, that he was blown away with the level of customer service that he had received, that he was going to be referring people to come buy from my store on Amazon. No, I'm going to take it back. He started off with, I regret having left that review. He didn't remove it. And he says everything else. I respond back with a tracking number showing that the new cigar cutters had gone out. Told him I had thrown in a few cigars that were some of my personal favorites, but that I live in Miami, which is kind of like the mecca of cigars. If he needs anything down here, to let me know. And responds back, thank you so much. He's just shocked. He's embarrassed at himself for having said all that stuff. And I just said, I'd love, once you receive these cigar cutters, if you took a second to revisit your review, not change it, revisit your review, and instead leave a review based on the level of customer service you feel you received once the problem was pointed out, which he did. I find that combination of doing it in any area really of our businesses can turn customer service into like a positive ROI, like a revenue driver in your businesses, and it's a great way to get a negative review removed. So in this case, this person doesn't even want to hear from you, so you're kind of at a loss. But there's going to be many more opportunities where you can contact the person.
Well,
and then the problem is like, what do I say?
Right. Well, and the other thing is, I don't want to like stalk the person, but you could see
don't
who it
stalk.
is, and you could follow them, and like.
Well, that's called stalking. That's like the very definition right there. Like, so I'm not going to stalk them. I'm just going to see where they are, and I'm going to follow them.
Well, then send a message if you're able to. But
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I've got something related.
Yeah.
I gave a speech about customer service, so I say.
Oh, here.
Customer service is dead.
Yeah. Just talk near it.
Customer service is dead. Why? Because it implies a problem. There's something wrong. And it's a reactive approach as opposed to proactive. So I say customer experience is alive, and you created an incredible experience. Think of the best experiences you've had with products. Disney comes at top of mind because of how you feel when you go to Disneyland or Disney World. I was in Colombia at the JW Marriott Marquis, got this suite that was on the concierge level, 2 massages included, me and the wife at the same time. What blew me away was that night when I looked at the little table that's nearby, I found a menu in there, and there was a menu of pillows. So they had 12 different pillows. Then each night that we came back from our outing, there was a towel by the side of my bed, the slippers were there, and so was my robe. I mean, a tremendous experience. I'll never speak poorly of the JW Marriott Marquis in Bogota, Colombia. Experience
I love
over
that.
service.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to try to change that, but that's a much better description of it. Customer experience. It can do wonders in your business. So I love it. What else? Was there any other questions? How are we on time? A little after 2. We got a second.
2:05.
Your son has.
Oh, where's my son?
Don't
Can't
lose your
find my
son.
phone, my son. Watch this. Andres,
He's found.
I have a bag of, you know where the candy's at? Orange. The orange. Oh, you want me to get a game? Well, it says $10.99 next to it. No, I don't want them to have electronics and stuff like that. This is just I would love my son to start coming, and my daughter at some point when she's interested, but I'd love them to start coming and just seeing. I work a lot. Yeah, I work a lot. I don't expect him to understand Amazon, but I think it would be helpful at this stage for him to see what I do, how I talk outside of the home. And he can use those how he sees fit, but I think it'd be good to do. I think it's good for him to interact with everybody here and see other, I think all of you are amazing people and you're driven, wins, losses, all that stuff. I think it's good to be around stuff like that. Currently though, if I don't do that, I mean, it just means I don't hang out at the house on Saturdays when he doesn't have school. And so this will be better. But no, I try to like not do that. I'm not going to ignore the fact that in an event is a transition to this could be a fun electronic babysitter that might be putting some stuff in his head that I don't like. There's a saying I recently read about this electronic, and this is a little off business, but I think it kind of applies, but it said, don't be surprised when you send your kids to Caesar and they come back as Romans. Right? So, yeah, so like, I'd like to know what's being input in there. So 5 minutes or an hour and a half of electronics, I don't.
I'm facing the same problem.
It is a problem, it's a challenge. I think we should all like keep each other on the loop on these kind of things. I think it really takes a village on this sort of thing, but look, you're gonna see like the worst thing in the world. I'm sending him in there to show under the orange Star Wars helmet is 4 bags of candy that he's about to get. But because everyone's wanted to give him some candy, he's made some huge accomplishments during the week. So you're gonna see my son sitting here eating candy and watching electronics. So it's like, prepare yourself. Be a lot of broccoli in his immediate future. What was the question? What was the question for this? It was about your video.
Yeah, that was the question.
Okay. What else? There was some stuff I wanted to touch on.
Picture that I didn't see there.
Touch a little bit on AI for a second. AI and e-commerce. I'm still telling myself, I mentioned to you guys before, I feel like in the world of AI, I'm really failing the group because everything else to date, I've been really good at getting ahead of, breaking, and coming in here and sharing what works. I can't seem to break AI enough, quick enough to come in here and teach anything on AI. So almost feels being let down. I'd love if a few of you kind of expressed, it doesn't have to be today, but you can come up to me one-on-one and just say like, here's an area of AI that's really got my attention and how I'm trying to apply it into business, and I think collectively would be the better way to approach it. As far as I've kind of come with it is, I don't, there's so many opportunities with this AI. I think what I'm doing with it is I'm trying to arm and if you have a team, if you're working by yourself, then just apply this to yourself. But if you have a team, which at the stage I'm at, I'm blessed to have an amazing team, is I'm trying to arm the correct team members with the correct AI. So what I want to avoid at all costs is I want to avoid, say Sora or VO3, because I'm a big Gemini fan. Those have to do with video. I'm not a video, I'm on video, I create content on video, but I'm not a videographer, I'm not a video editor, I'm not a video producer. I get the same fun feeling playing Call of Duty as I do messing around with VO3. That's not really great for my business, but if I put VO3 and some of these AI video tools into the hands of my videographer, we got some magic that happens. In my business, having a brainstorming buddy that specializes in specific areas is cost prohibitive for me to actually be able to hire, and I'm able to do a lot of damage with AI in some of the research areas. So like I find myself using it a lot there as a content creator for scripting. Don't get it to write your scripts personally. I don't think that's what you want to do, but leveraging it with your stories and crafting an amazing hook is sometimes
Great for that.
yeah, but crafting an amazing hook sometimes is challenging.
I would also say that having 2 gorillas playing chess together, that stuff kind of gets old.
It does get old. Like don't get. Maybe he's going to be a drummer, right? It's my son. So yeah, don't get too caught up into that. Like the baby in the diaper doing a podcast that sounds just like Morgan Freeman. That's like super cool, but people are going to get numb to that.
So the 2 dogs?
the two dogs. I don't know, just,
In general,
yeah, just try to focus on like what's gonna help you hit your goals quicker. It's gonna lower your labor cost in your business. What are some of those areas right now? Like if you're already doing like, when it comes to certain areas of content, I know in those specific areas, like I'm crushing it. But I know there's like 5% I don't play with, because that 5% might cost me like 14 hours, and the juice isn't really worth the squeeze. But with AI, I'm gonna close that to 99. So like those are the opportunities you really want to look at. In the realm of PPC, so pay-per-click advertising, I'm done. I wish there was an AI that I could just get to go do all my PPC. Any software that convinces me that they can do it, I get it temporarily and just try to break it, and they sort of suck. So what I do find AI really good to be in the area of PPC is the reports. So getting patterns in your reports, trends. I absolutely hate having to pull a whole bunch of reports and look at 3 different monitors of Excel sheets and try to tell a story out of that. It's just not what gets my juices flowing. I'm good at it because I've had to build my businesses on it, but I love nothing more than getting AI, which is a million times smarter than me, into that specific thing and having it do that. Now, once I know the story, I can start implementing strategy and things like that, which I'm really good at. So if you've not started doing this yet, don't try to, everyone's talking about how to get AI to run your ads. I think that's a mistake. Instead, get AI to evaluate your reports on your ads, and I think you're going to find, I think you'll find some great areas to level up, and it's going to save you a lot of time, because going over those reports is very time consuming. All right, Dimitri, it looked like you got a question from you out of that. Do you have a question? I saw you were like jotting.
Yeah, but I think
No, we're good. We have some time to play with today for the 2 p.m. topic. Like it's, I got about 45 minutes to an hour that I'd share about the event.
Yeah, the first one just came up. You said like, the service, customer experience.
Mm-hmm.
You said in your case, you respond immediately. It's like, so you took responsibility, and I understand it was one of your first brands.
Yes.
So you did operational work. If you have a team, or if you have BA for that, and you have like thousands of SKUs, how would you handle great customer experience?
Our customer experience SOPs, processes. We use something called process tree. It documents all our SOPs pretty much in every area of our business, right? Don't confuse SOPs with trainings. They're like our processes we have for everything. Our smallest one is for customers' experience. We have one. They have a problem, we refund them. No, none of it matters if you don't respond in a timely manner. And timely is closer to instant, because like it really does matter. Like person sends it to you Friday at 11 p.m. and you're like, I'm responding on Monday, I'm off on the weekend. That's not gonna fly. Like, no one wanted to wait the whole weekend with their problem. As close to instant as you can. What we do, we take full responsibility. We apologize that they didn't have an amazing experience, and the product didn't work for whatever they thought. We don't inconvenience them with a return. We offer a full and complete refund. We offer to ship them another one. That's it. I don't care if it's a few $1,000 product or a $10 cigar cutter. I didn't want to go too deep into that story, but I actually presented this in Toastmasters one day. That story I told you about the cigar cutter, years later, I couldn't get it out of my head. But every time after that I got a less than pleasant message or review, I got excited, because I was like, is this another cigar club owner, right? Like, am I about to I got a lot of orders from this guy over the years. He went on to start a YouTube channel, wound up being an influencer for all of our stuff. And then he became a little loony, but not my fault. But I told another business partner of mine about the story named Brian. And Brian didn't like parting with a penny. So him and I couldn't be different on this. He's like, no, we got refund policies, and we got all this stuff, right? He didn't want to lose anything. So what we did was, I said, let's make a test. Let's go out and intentionally give away 30 of the wrong cigar cutters. Mind you, this is a time that's more FBM than FBA. I don't think you can pull this off in a FBA world, right? With FBM, we could. So we created a sheet and we marked down the 30 orders, what they ordered, what we sent, right? At the time I researched this for the Toastmasters presentation, but I'm gonna give you some rough numbers that are close enough. Of the 30 incorrect orders that we shipped, right? We never heard from 8 of them. So 8 of those people received the wrong order and they never even said anything, right? So that left 22. Of the 22, we had about 5 negative reviews, all of which were overturned, right? Of the rest of them, we had messages we had to deal with varying degrees of pissed off. From, hey, I think there's a mistake, to you suck, you know, expletive, you know? And we were ready. We meaning me, because my business partner the whole time, he's just like, I told you. And I responded to each one of them. And I did different degrees of, hey, what's your favorite? The same thing I told you before, immediate response, took ownership, no need to return. Mind you, what they're not returning also, keep in mind, is about $1 plus shipping. Sending them another one, did all this stuff here. At the end of it, after it was all said and done, there was no negative reviews, and we were able to upsell a bunch of these people because in the conversations with them, we were asking them, when I asked them something like, hey, what's your favorite cigar? I want to send you a few cigars. They're like, I don't have any more room in my humidor. I was like, what kind of humidor do you have? You got a 25 count. I could give you a deal on our 50 count. This is about going out. I upsold them on stuff. I threw in a hygrometer, all this extra stuff. We wound up making a few $1,000s in sales more than what the original order would be with no negative reviews. Huh? And the customers return. So like, that's my only thing. If someone contacts through the group and say we had a product and the China trip, China, and the whole process sucked. I respond to you instantly, I give you a free return, I give you money back, and we're good. That's what I do. There's some bad apples out there and they're gonna play the system and they're just gonna steal from you. But especially after this week and some of the craziness that happened, like I still have a lot of faith that the majority of the people in the world are really, really good people, and it far outweighs the bad apples. And I'm not about to build a whole bunch of systems for a few bad people in my business. You know, it's worked out and it's been working for 16 years. So is it a little scary at first? Maybe, but it would not change for me if I was selling a few $1,000 TVs or $5 packs of bubble gum. Would not change at all.
That's an example of where AI would be very difficult to have an AI program to accomplish that level.
Sure.
You can learn more to behave this way. You can learn the particular model to behave in the way you want.
It works, guys. I mean, if it doesn't work and you go do it and it's not going to work, then you're going to come back and tell me it didn't work. So I have no ulterior motive. I don't have a customer service to sell you guys. This is just really working, and if you want to model it, I'm very confident it will work in your business too.
If a product is Amazon's choice or like editor's pick, do you feel like, is there a number, it does X amount better, like is it carried weight, like how do you feel about that in your experience?
Anything that has the badge on Amazon has a pickup in sales. I'm not even convinced that people read what the badge says. It just acts as a pattern interrupt visually. It's like a...
It's like a light flash.
Yeah, it's no different than when we get our main images and I talk about adding a specific feature or a flag or something like that in your listing. Or what we use is the technological differentiator that shows the app. If you search yoga block, the one I like to say, if you search yoga blocks and blue yoga blocks, you're expecting to see a bunch of blue yoga blocks, maybe stacked, maybe side by side. There's only so many things you can do, but if one of them has the outline of a mobile app next to it and says, you know, free beginner yoga, you know, on the screen, that's going to get your attention. You're probably going to pay a little more for those yoga blocks because you're getting this extra stuff. So all it does is it acts as a pattern interrupt. When somebody actually receives the blocks, they may not even realize that's why they stopped.
to get the yoga blocks. So that badge does the same thing. Amazon is so uniform that when they throw up a little badge of a color that nowhere else would get your attention, it lifts sales. Having said that, the whole Amazon choice system is corrupt. Like, there's so many ways to gamify that. You can change your category. Like, I wouldn't use it to dictate my buying decisions.
Right.
It's not the best choice for anybody, but probably that seller. Cool? No other ones? And if not, we'll get into, I'm telling you, do it. We have some time today. Like, we're still gonna.
It's still beginner question. So, right now, I'm in the stage of contacting different suppliers. We're talking about US based, right?
Yep.
So, and I have like different choices. There is one manufacturer supplier who can do everything in one place, like the product, packaging, labeling.
Warehousing, 3PL, everything.
Yes.
Right.
Then I have options when like co-packer gets ingredients, they have formulas, or they can like source the guy who can create formula. Then they can create packaging, or also they can like get my package that I order from different suppliers to them, and they can do it. So I think I would ask you, like, not even what is better, but how do you usually compare like prices and quality? And probably the question is, I think that if some supplier or some manufacturer is a specialist in creating all the packages, probably they can create better packaging than the manufacturer who create everything, like ingredients for food, packaging, and so on. And the last question is related to this. So, if it's your first product, if it's your first PO, like samples and then first order, do you have any like strategies how to negotiate? Because probably for the first order you will have the smallest MOQ and so on. So how do you usually negotiate the first order? Like just coming with different orders saying, okay, this manufacturer gives me like $1 per item. Can you give me like 95, 90 cents, or maybe you have any like hacks?
Yeah, that was a lot of good questions. I'm gonna try. I don't know if I'm gonna have them all memorized, but I'm gonna try to. On the back end, what you asked was basically how to negotiate price with a supplier.
Yes.
When it's a brand new supplier in your first order.
You don't have relations with them yet, and it's the first small order, like the minimum MOQ.
Right.
So you
And
cannot
in the-
negotiate it with the mom.
It seems like the first question, though, could be summarized by, if you're working with someone, you're talking about a US-based manufacturer, so you're talking about a raw ingredient that you probably want to get. And let's just call it coconut flour.
Yeah.
Right, just for sake, but coconut flour. I know there could be mixes and you got different stuff, but just do a coconut flour. And you can buy the raw ingredient of coconut flour, which means this person's gonna sell them in barrels or sacks or something, but you need that to not go to your driveway. You need that to go to someone that's accustomed to dealing with sacks and putting them into individual bags, which is a co-packer.
Yeah, and this is important because you want, especially if you want to have an organic, because if
Absolutely.
if you break this chain,
Correct.
you can,
And if you're working with someone that's organic, that person needs to have all their certifications that's organic. And what a lot of people don't realize is when it goes to the co-packer who's packaging it, they also need to be organic. Otherwise it breaks the chain. And it's no longer organic because the organic people didn't make money. So that's what happens. And then if you're ordering, say, 10,000 pieces, units, but you only need to ship 2,000 to Amazon, you need somewhere to warehouse these finished goods and drip them into the Amazon FBA warehouses. So we'll call that a 3PL or a prep center. So there's three. Pre-COVID, those were 3 people. So your question wasn't really, it might have been like Keebler did all that in-house for Keebler. But for the types of stuff we're doing, that really wasn't an issue. It seems like during COVID, whether some of these people were going out of business and they were like, let's get together, or some of these raw goods people said, man, every time somebody orders a raw good from us, they're asking us, who's a co-packer we recommend? And if you're getting a co-packer to receive your raw goods, you don't want to get your supplier in California and your co-packer in Miami, because now you need to ship these raw goods across the country into here and pay a bunch. So Since there's so many co-packers, you want a supplier for your raw ingredients that's in close proximity to a co-packer. And then you need to ship it, then you need to put in a warehouse. So then you need to ship it to a warehouse. So that's what happened. Some of those people, I think, got tired of recommending each other and just consolidated. And what happens now is you have someone who for the last 60 years has been a coconut flakes or a coconut flour supplier who now offers packaging, co-packing, and 3PL services. To Ting's point earlier, she's like, "Am I good on pricing or anything like that?" I think it's safe to say that they're really, really good, like 60 years of experience good on raw ingredients. But they're only 3 years good on packaging, right? Are they saying you can only work with us and buy our supplies if you get our packaging? No. Are they saying you only can work with us if you get our raw ingredients and we co-pack for you if you want to use our 3PL? No. So you exploded out. The only reason more people don't do that is because they're intimidated of the process. It just seems like a lot of moving parts. It's not. You're going to have your supplier. You're going to either Google or you're going to use ChatGPT and say, give me a list of co-packers that work with dry good coconut flour within close proximity to X zip code. And it's going to give it to you. You're going to contact them. And you're going to create an email thread and put them together. And then you're also going to find a 3PL in close proximity as well. That's it. You're going to put them in a thread together and everything's going to be fine. So it's not. So, but at a minimum, I would say for me to be able to better answer that, like what I mentioned to Ting, ask the person to give you a quote and then ask them to break down how they reach that quote. Like what are they charging you for each of those things? It's a really fair question. Okay, now the other part, I really don't like negotiating price too hard on my first order with someone if I'm also going for the minimum order quantity or maybe even trying to go lower. Because if you reverse it for a second, what's happening is you're kind of saying, what's the minimal I need to be on the hook and waste my time with you on? But I also want you to take me serious like a supplier of X amount of time and give me preferred pricing and to, you know, I find it to be a weak position to have. What I do is this: don't ask any of these people for pricing right now. Instead, you sit down and you look at your unit economics and say, I need to sell this at this price. And let's say Amazon. I'm going to sell this on Amazon FBA for this price. My fees are going to be X. Back it out. My inbound shipping fee is going to be X. And see what you're left with. And then say, for this entire thing to make sense for me, I want to be making X. And for me to do that, I cannot pay more than Y. So that becomes your target price. Now go to these people and say, hey, I got to be at a T. It just takes you more serious. A lot of times you go to a supplier, if you're an established business, you go in there and say, look, we have a target price of this, and we want to place an opening order of X. You don't go in there and say, how much were you going to quote me for this, and what is your MOQ? So it kind of just exposes your hand that you're really new to this. And at the end of the day, if they give you something that's higher than your target price, you shouldn't be ordering it anyway. Because you need, for this, you've already decided for this to make sense for you, for your wife, to continue the kids in private school, to continue golfing, or whatever you're going to do. For this to happen, you need to be at this price, at this target price. And that's take into account some of your fees may increase in some of these other areas. So like that's a better way to go about it. And when you let them know the target price, it instead changes the dynamic of the conversation to, well, we charge this, and instead say, look, for us to reach that target price, this is what we need. And sometimes it's, they want an open order, or they want you to say, you're committing to ordering X amount across the next year, 2 years, or we only do that if you can pass a credit check of, like, it's a conversation that you wouldn't have any other way. Some of them might say that's impossible. We don't even do that. And then not every relationship is meant for you. And you go on to somebody else. But that's how I would approach that. I don't like saying, what's the minimum I need to do business with you on? And then try to get you down on price. I just feel like, I feel dirty. Yeah.
would you negotiate with the suppliers?
Sure. Well, usually when we go to China or when we go to a trade show, like PLMA even, that would happen. I mean, keep in mind, this isn't a YouTube video where everything's rehearsed, so if 60 of us walk up to a booth and I try to have a natural conversation with the lone person behind there, it's gonna be really off. It'll be like 60 people just approach me. This has never happened to me in the history of trade shows.
Right.
But like, I'll walk up to some and a handful of you will be there with me. But it was really good in China. Like for example, I don't bring translators. I find, you guys have seen me do this before, but this is the only translation thing I've needed in China, doing business with the owners too, not like that spoke no English.
I would like to see your one.
Okay. RMB or USD? Like, this is it. This is the only translations I've ever needed in China. Like, when I'm talking with a factory, and it'd be like, no.
I do want to see your skills of talking, negotiating on Alibaba, which is online, how you approach to them, and then what's the actually, that's a trick question, you know, through your selling experience, you want to see, hey, this is a good, like how they play with me, and I like to see that. If you can like give us like a meeting one point, and
I will say I try to get face to face. If I can get face to face with you and we can talk, we're good. I'm gonna feed off your body. There's a lot that happens there that I don't even know how to describe. But if I can get face to face with you, we're good. My next one would be the phone. I'm not extremely happy here. My confidence has gone down a lot, but I can defend myself really good. Email, forget it. I'm just like, you put me now in the bucket with everybody else that comes across some template from some webinar, and like I gotta cut through a bazillion pieces. Like it's just, it almost like makes me not wanna. But if you get me face to face, it's because why I love trade shows. Love trade shows, love conferences. I mean, a lot of it is just, yeah, but I'd love to. Next time we go to one. Are you going to PLMA?
Yes.
Oh, you've been, did you receive those orders? You are going. She said you are.
So the situation is, I had an idea that came up one day, an idea of a water beverage brand that would be strictly off marketing, that would make it a success, similar to Liquid Death. And so I created an AI video. It's a video, 24 bucks. It cost me for credits that I burned through. Launched it in 3 days, over 2,000 likes, follows, comments, just to gauge if people would bite on it. And there's a total addressable market for it, very specific interest group. That's large. And so my question to you is, the results are great, above average engagement for that type of ad. That's what the Facebook metric was saying. What would be your next step? If you're talking about a beverage brand, what would your next steps be? What point would you feel necessary to reach in order to say, like, let's sell this product? Whether team-wise, expertise being in the beverage space.
What's stopping you so far with everything you said?
I'm just curious. I have my idea, but
like what? Yeah, but what's stopping you?
There's nothing stopping me.
Something is.
There has to be something.
I'm by myself, and the business.
Okay, but that's important because you're asking me what I'm going to do because what you just said right there is a lot more than I've had most of the time.
Yeah, because I did my first business by myself, and I told myself I'll never do it again.
What happened in that first business?
I sold it.
You sold it.
Yeah.
So you successfully exited and said you'd never do it again.
By
Well,
myself.
you're a unicorn then. That's like
so,
one of the most addictive things I've ever done.
to do it by yourself.
Whoa, to have a business and then exit it
No,
and
no,
then never
but-
do
but-
another one?
No, but to run it by myself. Like,
But did you successfully exit?
I successfully exit. Yeah.
So that means you either had a really nice exit and it cost you some serious health, or a relationship or something. Like something happened because everyone else that successfully exits a business that I know is hooked.
It was just hard. It's lonely.
Yeah, I mean,
So.
you know what's worse than hard and lonely? 3 business partners.
And so, yeah. And so this is beverage, and being something that it's beverage, it's like, it's a big space. There's nothing, I'm just curious of your opinion, because
I think you already got everything you need to do it, like it's what it sounds like.
I'll
or more
keep
than-
going. I'm just interested in.
If
what
you wanted one little thing that I sometimes do, and I think it's a bit underhanded, it's underhanded. But if I'm still doubting myself, and I've done a bunch of like, because you've run some ads, you've done awareness, you've got feedback. The only thing you haven't done is sell.
Right.
But you don't have the product to sell. So I would run ads and I'd send it to a checkout page and I would sell it. And sell the number you think would give you the confidence you need, and then I would immediately refund it because you don't have a product to send.
Right.
And just let them know we ran out of stock, I'm super sorry, or whatever, but we will set up dummy landing pages, dummy sales page landing pages that will sell.
Yeah, so I set up the page, but it's out of stock, but I like the idea.
No, I
of
would sell it
having
because
just
it seems like you just need, like if that whole story ended with you also sold 100 units yesterday,
So
you've
I'm
refunded
checking
them.
right now.
You're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna sell 100, yeah, I'm selling that. You'd at least buy 100 units.
I'm glad I asked, that's the perfect
Yeah,
answer.
because it sounds like there's like a psych hang-up that's going on because you have pretty much everything there, and it's normal to have that. But
That's a great idea.
it's underhanded in the sense of I don't think it's cool to charge somebody for something you know you don't have.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel better, give them a free product. let
That's
them
the
know.
doubt, like they like it, but are they gonna buy it? So even if they put an email.
Well, you're gonna have a
in
different problem afterwards. You're gonna
Yeah.
be killing yourself because you waited so long to sell this
Better
thing,
problem.
and now you have the validation that you sold 100 units. So like, you could do that. And then it's not, if you're looking for investors at that point, it becomes easier too, because you can show them and say, hey, look, this is my, this is what I sold 100, 15 of them signed up for a subscription to receive monthly. Obviously, I refunded everybody because we didn't have any, but this is, what more proof do you need?
This reminds me of a commercial a while back where they have a product launch. The whole team is watching the computer and they're looking at the orders and they go, 1, yeah,
Yeah.
5, yeah, 10, and then the thing starts going like a ticker tape. And it gets into the hundreds of thousands and they're like, what do we do now?
Yeah, no, that's how it happens. That's the only thing I can think of.
No, it's perfect.
Yeah. What else we got? No questions from back there? By the way, those are two OGs, like old school wizards in the back. Yeah. They've been here like twice, I think, in the last, I'm hoping it's a habit they plan on starting again. How long is it, when did you guys first join the room? It's been 18, so pre-COVID, which means woof. Yeah, yeah. Yes, oh yes, oh man, well. Oh, either way. It feels, I still feel like what I wanted to say was, oh my God, you guys killed it in 2020. But saying something like that with the pandemic still feels bad because you don't know who, like one of those plaques that's out there was Cindy. You guys remember Cindy? She died of COVID. She was like the matriarch in this group. So like, you guys know what you mean though, by if you're in e-com and you were doing e-com, we had just for the first time cracked 100 million in gross sales. And it was like a metric we had been trying to do forever, which I've never.
On one product?
No, not one product, no, on one platform.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was the most miserable time of my life, whatever. I shouldn't be complaining, but it was bad. And then we're about to sell, and they backed out because of COVID. And we're like, that's it. We just lost everything because nothing was gonna happen. Like, the whole world's gonna shut down. No one really thought about what that meant for e-commerce. And then for 2 months, it looked like everything was gonna go down. And we had 72% growth. We don't have the ability to grow 1% more. Like, we have taken this as far as it can grow. So 72% growth in 1 year. It was in 2020. And then another 40 something in 21, and like just, yeah, it was I'll never chase those numbers. I want a very, very profitable 6-figure brand. That's it. None of those higher end crazy stuff. But yeah, no, cool. So you guys did good in 2020. Yeah, cool. All right, let's get into it. By the way, at the end, if we have any questions, hang out. We hang out here a little bit afterwards and we network. So you don't have to race out if you don't want to. If you got to go somewhere, that's fine. We only have a little bit of time to do that today because we actually have a YouTube meetup. Let me take some of that back. Our YouTube meetup starts at 4. Yeah, sorry. Thanks for the look. Moises is like, no, no.
I mean, everybody's welcome to join the.
Yeah, everybody's welcome to join our YouTube meetup that starts at 4. We have a couple minutes. You have 15, 20 minutes to hang out and ask questions. But we're going to be focusing on thumbnails today, which is probably one of the more important, or the most important area of YouTube.
Do you guys live stream that or no?
We're not live streaming it yet.
Is it recorded?
I don't know what you guys did last time, but there's no live stream link for the YouTube meetup.
We.
I can set it up real quick.
Andres did it like in 2 minutes.
Right.
So we.
Then I can do it in one.
Okay. Then we can
Like,
do
I
it.
would love to rewatch that.
I could.
It's there actually. It's there.
Where's there?
It's in the YouTube channel.
So if you're the
Oh, okay.
YouTube channel, yeah.
Oh, okay, so tell me,
Yeah.
I can't stay, but like, I'd love to watch.
No, that's fine. So
Especially because a lot of the things that you see in business relates very well with Amazon, and I can help any brand
Yes,
to
yes.
everything.
okay. I had one little announcement before we got into the thing today. I try to stay away from policing different areas of the group so we could all do our stuff. But this is more it's for the stream and for everybody here. We avoid. It's a reminder of one of the rules, especially in our chat rooms. We avoid politics, topics about politics, religion. There's no room in the group, it should go without saying, for any nastiness or like hate stuff. Like we don't do that here. I do know it's a very decisive world that we're in right now. Even when we get into things like tariffs, right? I try to make sure that everyone tiptoes around it and we're just sticking to tariffs. While also obviously being human and having my own opinions and beliefs on stuff. This week, without getting too much into it, something horrible happened. And I think we all saw it. Had a huge impact on me. But what had a worse impact was some of the people in the group who are no longer part of the group made some comments that someone might have had that coming. Look, regardless, and you guys know me for a long time, no, I don't. This might be the first time you've heard me say something like this. I respect everyone's opinion on stuff, but that person was a dad, was a business person. Nobody deserves that. It was disgusting. We don't do that in the group. That kind of stuff should be, if that's your opinion, keep it to yourself. We won't have that kind of stuff in the group. My personal opinion, since it was a public post, I feel like I need to respond to that publicly.
Where it was like on.
It was in our Telegram groups.
Telegram.
It's since been, I'm glad you didn't see it. I don't think that kind of stuff should be seen. But people who believe that that was justified in any way, my personal opinion is you're part of the problem of what's going on. And we'll just leave it at that. But if you guys see that or see someone in the group that's doing stuff on that, it's really hard to build something amazing like we've done. And that kind of stuff does not help, right? So I don't expect you to come in here and police anything yourselves. Let me know. So I can get rid of that kind of stuff. And with that, I'll get away from that. I apologize I even had to bring it up, but we can't have that. Let's keep it business, guys. Yeah, keep it business and keep it human, right? Okay, CoCreate. I went again. I was invited to speak. I will say this, I almost want to plug this up and show you, but it feels too much like ego for this. The last time I spoke there was 385 plus pounds. And they actually put the picture up, showed up at 235 from 385. So it was it was a big thing for me to see that side by side on that stage. During that same time, I also started going to Toastmasters. So not because Gino's here, but I actually went there and I was like kind of underwhelmed getting up there to present because I was expecting, man, if I went to Toastmasters this much, I should be leveled up. And I was like, I don't feel like I've learned anything that I can point to and say that I've leveled up, right? But hear me. So I go, and I get feedback from people after I do these events and speak.
How many people were there?
Thousands.
Okay.
Yeah, thousands. Moises was there the previous year.
Yeah, it was huge last year.
Me or?
You're always huge.
Yeah.
I mean,
We had Moises in a party bus in Vegas. But on the main stage, even in these big like executive chairs, I didn't even fit barely in this chair on the main stage in one of the talks there last year. And this year, I mean, I felt like half the man I used to, you know what I mean? But on the speaking side, and then I'll get away from that and we'll get into the meat and potatoes, but on the speaking side, I get the same types of feedback, oh, inspirational, oh my God. Da, da, da. This time, I was getting things like, things you normally only hear from like a Toastmasters event. That's how I know it had to come from there. But it was my use of space. Normally, if you're talking to someone who's not a speaker, I feel like you don't hear people talk about how you used the space in the stage. They don't even call it space. But that how I moved around it, they were like I paid a lot of money to go to events to hear someone speak like that and move. And I was like, well, that's a Toastmasters thing. I used to have this fear when I'd go speak places, like when we're talking, I would look at everybody like this, kind of like above you, because I was like, man, if I make eye contact, and he's like, I'm gonna lose it. Like I'm not gonna be able to catch my thread because I'm gonna be like, I'm humiliating myself. But this time I made eye contact and everyone was coming up how they felt included. A lot of stuff like that. So did amazing in that regard. So yeah, that was a huge plus for me to be able to do that. I spoke multiple times on like some breakout stages and some big stages. So got a lot of exposure. Got to talk about Wizards of Ecom a lot. So we have a lot of people, new people that will be joining on the stream, some people that are in Miami, and I've lived in Miami my whole life and I've never heard about the group, which is still bonkers to me that that's a possibility, but it just goes to show. The one presentation that I did that was the best received, most votes, all that stuff, had the biggest turnout, was the one I thought was gonna be the most boring. And it was something we talk about here all the time, and it goes to show you like some of the stuff we talk about is for other people is just like they've never heard this stuff before. And it was how much does it cost to start a private label? Like how much does it really cost to start a private label brand, like your own brand? And because you see on YouTube, there's launch 4 products for $500 and like all this BS that's out there. And I got up there, real matter of fact, and I shared what those numbers were, and everybody was just like, it's like they hadn't, like, if you don't have a group like this that we have with each other, your only source of information is some person on YouTube, you know, that, or your specific account. So it was really, I'm very appreciative of everybody that comes out and hold on. I mean, we're at pushing 12 years and over 1,600 of these meetups. I'm really appreciative. I feel like I've leveled up a lot as a seller, obviously presenting, like this was unheard of before I started this group, getting up and doing this. But I've grown a lot as a seller. I've seen a lot of you grow as sellers, coming to these meetups. You know, Candace mentioning, thank you for doing the Vine at 30 instead of, like all these little things really matter. And for us, it's every Saturday. But for some of these people that we're speaking to, it was like they were dying of thirst and you're giving them water. But most people, your competitors too, something I took away is they're clueless as to how this really works. And not to kick someone when they're down, but some of these people were trusting enough to show me like what they were selling. And some of you are like competitors. I mean, maybe not everyone here, but some of you are competitors to these people. So I see the product. I obviously don't start sharing all that information, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, I know that the wizard, one of the wizards here, they're struggling because their biggest complaint is they can't sell it as cheap as this other person, and this person's stealing all of their sales. And now I'm looking at the back end of this person that's taking up way too much mental space in your head, that's giving you all this stress, and they're telling me, we're never going to be able to reorder. We don't have enough money. Amazon's fees are too high. PPC's too expensive. And you're on the here over thinking that they have preferred pricing and that's how they could sell so low. And they have an ad specialist on their back end, and it's not. They're just trying to get through their inventory or go bankrupt. And you're making huge decisions and accepting less profits. All you need to do is just bide your time. So it made me think a lot about, and this was a lot. In the Amazon seller world, a lot of us don't talk about our products. But in the Shopify world, or people that are more broader e-commerce, they're very open about their product, which is normal. Everyone wants to share what they sell. So I got to see a lot of this. Some water beverage brands, gardening stuff, food products, and we don't talk about this as much, but just stay focused on improving your product. Don't try to be a 9-figure seller or an 8-figure seller or a 7-figure. Don't think about that. Focus on having a great product, great customer experience, great, think about your profit margin and what it takes, like why you're doing this. Make sure you have enough profits there so that you can reinvest in improving, getting to a 2.0 of that product, or investing other areas of your product. Don't stay focused on these competitors that are selling at lower or have more reviews. It's a very static, it's a very toxic mindset you're going to get into. And you're not a weaker person or a weaker seller for thinking of it. To this day on social media, my favorite tool on social media is mute, right? So if you're popping up in my feed, I have friends that we hang out with, we'll have a drink together, but I'm not following them on social media. I don't want to see any of their stuff on social media. You know, they'll flood me with screenshots or them traveling all over the world, and I'm like, man, I'm not traveling around the world. You know, why don't my screenshots and sales look like that? And you just get on this hamster wheel of like, it's toxic. Just don't look at it. Not to mention, you can get any screenshot you want to say for $5 on Fiverr, right? So just stay away from it. Focus on your lane. Focus on having a great product. That was a huge takeaway for me from that event. I felt the need to say it. Alibaba. I've been saying this for a few times. Axio. They have a tool called Axio. It's part of their AI. They got some AI stuff coming out that's I'm gonna say alarming. I know everyone's been saying that for a while, and I've been, I think you're overreacting. I think you're like preying on fear and trying to turn business out of it. Some of this AI was alarming, like the type of stuff that it could do.
Like what?
Well, they don't do this, but what you're able to do with some of these things.
You're saying Alibaba doesn't do this?
No, no, I'm saying most AI, like for example, okay, let me choose my word right on this, because the capabilities that it had, I think it's a great tool, but the capabilities that it had, that it could show any of us with the product, really using the product, recommending the product, it looked real. It was real. Here's where I think that's very concerning. And I know last week, I hope everyone had a great event with Tom and with Ramon. I know they did some UGC stuff. You weren't here. I heard it was a great one. And some
Actually,
of that.
I watched it on the live stream.
Yeah, I heard it was really good.
It was very good.
Yeah, I was almost glad that I wasn't here because I'm a bit of a detractor on that topic. And I was like, I know not everybody shares my opinion on this, but my thing is this, like right now what's exploding is, and by the way, I started this about Axio, but my mind jumped over to AI. It's two different topics. What's exploding right now is user-generated content. And let's say, who can I pick on? Dimitri. Dimitri has a beard. Say he's going to sell a beard balm, right, or some beard oil. And he has dry skin. And this beard oil or whatever is good for people like that. Dimitri used to have to go out and find people with beards that had beards like that, and maybe even showed an exaggerated view of dry skin and then showing it applied. It's difficult to do, and it costs money. Dimitri doesn't need to do that anymore. Dimitri could get hundreds of people with that exact condition at a hotel, in a bathroom, in a bedroom, and anywhere, applying his beard oil and recommending it and showing that it helped their skin. This is why I think that's a huge problem. It didn't really help those people. Like, they're making a recommendation on how a product impacted their life. That's not true. If we assume that it is a safe product that gonna have no bad side effects, then no harm, no foul. But we don't know that, especially when we're talking about taking, you know, you're getting this fit yoga person showing that they take this and it's helped with their flexibility or hip joints or something like that. But it's not even a real person that's saying it helped them. You know what I mean? So I feel like this is something that's been pretty clear with like consumer what is it, what's the agency that covers this, like consumer protection?
FTC.
With the FTC. That, it's been pretty clear that you can't do stuff like that. And if you do, you gotta leave a disclaimer, you gotta talk real fast, it can be fine print, you gotta do all that, but it has to exist. Right now with AI, the stuff that's coming out on that doesn't have to have any of that apparently. And I think it creates a really dangerous environment. It's very alarming to me. I don't think most people are going to be able to tell the difference, especially this one that I see they're coming out with. So I'd like to say I have a clear answer for that. My bet is that within a year and a half, 2 years, which you could do a lot of damage in your business during that time. I think it's one of the things Ramon and I agree on. But I think at some point that sort of AI content is going to be flagged as this is that, or you're going to have to say that. And what's going to happen there is, think about it, if you're looking for some kind of thing for your skin, you don't want the recommendation from fake AI people. So it's going to create an explosion for the need of real content from real people talking about a real problem. So I think you should continue with your in-house content creation and not go blindly into this AI stuff, or you're going to find yourself in 2 years wondering, wow, I lost all this time. Back to Axio. Axio is, in my opinion, by far the best tool for, I'm going to call it product development. And if you use Alibaba, you see my son out there? Is he? You see Andres with him? Or?
Tell me before.
Yeah. Yeah, can you just see if Andres is with him? Because the front door is open.
No. Andres,
Yeah, no, he knows his way around. I don't think he would go out, but, okay.
Okay.
The Axio, imagine you have your product, you go into Axio and you're just like, I want, say you don't like the tariffs you're getting hit with because of a specific material type. You could just tell Axio that, and Axio will then just mock up your product in real time, showing you this made in all these different material types. Or if you need not more than X percentage of the product to be made of that material type, it can do it. If you're looking at different products and you're like, well, I want this one to be better than what's on the market, can you put together what all the common complaints are for this type of product? It'll go out there and it doesn't scrape, but I'm going to call it scrape Amazon reviews and everything else across the web and show maybe this thing leaks or this thing cracks. Give you recommendations on how to fix that and show you the suppliers that you would need to work with to address that. And if you're like, I like this, there'll be a button right there to send a template email to each one of them in real time. That kind of stuff used to take me weeks to do. I'd need to go to FIU engineering and talk to the professor and say something like, hey, do you have some star students I might be able to treat to Flanagan's? And like brainstorm, you know what I mean? It took some legwork to be able to do this, and then I'd have to send it somewhere and I'd get prototypes made. It was a lot of work. And with Axio, it's just, and that's just in the product side. Now I need to bring that and find a supplier. I can do that in minutes in Axio. Like I can cover 10 product ideas this weekend. Highly recommend you use Axio. I know for a fact that it's getting better. Have some stuff I can't disclose about it, but that I'm already messing around with on the back end. I think what you're going to hear in this space is everyone's going to be talking about it really soon, so maybe get ahead of the curve and start messing around with it. I think it's free.
What is it called?
Axio, A-C-C-I-O.
Ah.
You can connect it to your Alibaba if you want to. So if you have a bunch of communication history with Alibaba or past suppliers that you want to work with, it can read all your past stuff and say, hey.
Imagine you have an idea of a product, and it's something that has never been created before. Can you talk to Axio to ask him, hey, I have this idea, but I don't see anything in the catalog?
It's exactly what it's for. It's conversational research and development. Just like you would conversate with ChatGPT, you can do that with Axio. And it's tied into everything on the product development side.
So your competitors can.
Huh?
So your competitors can do the same.
Who?
Your competitors.
Your competitors can do the same, yes.
So it's less room for.
Yeah, no, I think everyone's going to level up to where everyone needs to really be using something like this. Where I think the danger, it's not that your competitors won't use it, It's going to be a while, I think, before everybody does start. But even if they were, you still need to be using this. I think you're going to be way left behind if you're not using something like that. Yeah. Or you're going to have a product that you're overpaying for. Look, differentiation. You guys have heard me say differentiation is the key to a lot of this stuff on Amazon. You don't want to be selling a Me Too product just looking different in the main image a lot. Different for a reason. But just looking different in the main image is it's powerful in getting the attention. You know, imagine a page full of wine glasses and one of them is bedazzled gold with a B. Which one's going to get your attention? You know.
Can you spell it again?
ACC.
ACC?
ACCIO.
So looking for a co-packer of water, this would be a good platform to have that discussion versus me, ChatGPT, looking at different websites, or something supplementary.
For water, I wouldn't source water from China. There's
Oh, this is specifically for China.
well, it's got stuff all over the world, but for example, water specifically is going to have some weight issues. There's going to be I think some environmental issues bringing water over, I would guess.
No, for me, it has to be in the U.S.
Right, but there's just so many water suppliers here in the U.S. I'd connect with Tom from the group. I've actually helped him launch, I'll share it because he's okay with sharing that, but we launched the Resway brand, which is one of the top water selling brands on Amazon. I mean, we're right there next to Essential Water. So,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, so like, he's very familiar with that side of it, but he's gone through a bunch of suppliers that I think he's outgrown. And since you'd be starting, and he's very open about, you know, what he does and who he's working with. So I'm fairly certain, especially since you've become a regular, I'm fairly certain he would just share all his contacts with you. So you'd make an introduction. Good people. Yeah. Okay. Another one. I heard more talk about TikTok than I did Amazon. Right. First time that's ever happened to me at an event. As a matter of fact, I would say I heard more talk about TikTok than Amazon, and I heard about the same amount of Shopify talk as I did about Amazon. That was a shocker. So much so, I was kind of put up there as like the Amazon expert. That it was like water in the desert. Like the people that did want to hear about Amazon, they came to me. But it is interesting. And let me say this, if it was Alibaba, which is obviously it's a China-based company, if it was just them talking about TikTok, that would be like, okay, like I kind of get that. No, I'm talking about from the attendees, right?
If you have a TikTok shop as a seller,
Mhm.
because I know, like, that doesn't require a certain amount of followers, doesn't sell your product.
No.
And when you have a TikTok shop, is that going, where are those products stored? Is that can they pull from your Amazon inventory?
You can pull from your Amazon
Is
inventory.
that what most people do? Is that what you do?
No,
Where do you keep?
a 3PL.
Okay.
Yeah, but it could be your house, it could be a 3PL. I've heard, I don't have any experience with it, but apparently TikTok has their own 3PLs that they're building out. I just don't have any firsthand experience doing it. Has anybody here worked with a TikTok 3PL?
They have one, but only for the giant.
Probably like the goalies and all those people of the world.
So, but their thing is, they're not like Amazon where it's like next day. Like you could say because I've ordered stuff, like it could be a few days on TikTok, right? That's the difference.
Well, it depends who you're ordering from. So I bet you if you ordered from Goldie, you'd probably have it like in a day or two.
Well, I put like, I have a business page on TikTok
Mhm.
and then on Instagram. I am blown away. I got like 800 and something views on a video that I put on TikTok, and there was like 100 on Instagram. Like, there's a lot of activity, I feel too. That's why I'm like on TikTok for like products.
There is. Man. So I think we should continue talking about TikTok and focusing on TikTok and stuff like that. I don't think it should be, I still don't think, look, we're known as kind of like an Amazon seller group, but I'm not married to Amazon. I'm married to like cash flow positive and running a profitable business. So if Amazon stopped being the number one thing, whatever that other thing is, we kind of step up and we become known as that, right? So I don't work for Amazon. But the fact is, across my brands and what I sell, and we're a big box retail store. Put all that together. 95, it's a good place in some of these places. We sell everywhere. 95% of it's still Amazon. Like, so that is going to dictate where you put most of your resources. Until that changes, we're just so yes, TikTok is this big, they talked about TikTok more than they did Amazon at this event. It's second, let's say, but it is such a distant second that it's unreal. So I think it's good to early adopt certain areas, but not at the expense of, like if you don't even have enough resources to fully put into your main channel, don't steal resources into this longer term play. Where I see that there is a strong justification to bring TikTok in, and I do this a lot with businesses. So like I have this goal that in 3 years I want to be doing X, and I break this thing down into like all these different areas, and then every quarter I like to tack on an area. So I'm on target to hit this longer term goal, and there's a bit of a flywheel effect there, so I'm not wasting any effort in anything. So with TikTok, my excuse for the resources I put in, my justification for the resources I put into TikTok is that when you have influencers on TikTok promoting your product, it's a very high percentage don't buy it on TikTok. And for whatever reason, I don't trust it. You can't link it to Amazon, but so-and-so, you sold me with your video, but I'm gonna go get this from Amazon where I'm already paying for a Prime account and I know I'm gonna get it in a day or two, and if I don't get it, I'm one click away from getting my money back. Customer experience. So they go buy it on Amazon. So you're indirectly driving traffic to your Amazon business. So I feel like putting the resources into TikTok is helping your Amazon business and justifies putting it into such a far off second place platform. Also, the skills that you would put into TikTok, there's not a lot of overlap between those skills and your Amazon skills. Like for example, we talk about making money as a TikTok creator, which we started making money finally. On the TikTok, I was showing you guys, if you look at Real Carlos Alvarez, we're creating a personal brand for TikTok. I was so anti-TikTok in doing that, but we decided to do it. We're now making money off of it, and TikTok's paying somewhere between, I think it's close to 1,000, but it's like $800 to $1,600 per million views that we have. And it's very easy to get 1 million views on TikTok, aggregate. So the putting in the skills necessary to create video content, to have an organic presence on TikTok in that way, are great skills to have that are gonna help you out in your business, in all the other areas of your business, so worth it. What TikTok's paying right now for live streaming is unreal. I'm on some friends of mine's live streams, and I'm seeing these roses.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what that means?
No.
Those are pretty much like,
It's addicting.
pretty much like 20 cents.
Yeah.
But there's thousands of these roses. Look, imagine it's on a live stream and you see the heart emojis going, and all that stuff here. But when you see a rose and there's a few of those other icons that you're like, oh, that's cute, that's a TikTok thing. No, it's money. It's money. So if you go to try to send a rose to someone, what's gonna open up is it looks like I would compare it to when I used to be into those games that Moises tried to suck me back into recently, like what is it, Clash of Clans and all that there, and you could buy real money to pay for in-game gems to build your walls. It looks just like that. And they've gamified it, you're making money, but the amount of roses that are being thrown at 20 cents, I'm now understanding how these live streamers are making money. Anyhow, what I'm getting at is, if you started embracing live streaming like like Ting and Chris have been like leading the charge on in the group. It's going to be very ugly in the beginning. You guys are not ugly, but like the process is a very intimidating, cumbersome, ugly process in the beginning. But eventually we're going to get to a spot in e-commerce where live social selling is the priority and what we need to do. We see it's not a guess. It's been happening in China for years. It's coming. So again, that's another area that it's not so much of a wasted resource as I see, because if you start slowly getting better at live streaming and talking about your product, when it does come, you're going to be head and shoulders above your competitor.
Live selling is a job. It's not like 1 hour, 2 hour thing. It's a job. You have to turn on 24/7. Or if you want to go on break, like maximum like half an hour. You have to turn on again. Otherwise, live selling is pointless.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
Well, some people don't do that, but like some of the big brands in China, they're just 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have some people that are making.
I consider it a job.
Yeah, look,
It's a job.
I know people that are doing $100 a day and like 2 hours a day live streaming. And to be clear, we're not talking about some easy on the eyes, like possible OnlyFans type of, no. I'm talking about some ugly dudes that I know, you know, middle age, and they tell bad jokes. That's it. Not you, Miguel. So but they're getting up there, and a friend of mine was showing me one, Madi actually, the video, she's showing me one, and they're asking each other stuff like, I'm doing it with Gino, and I'm like, Gino, we're gonna ask each other business, bodybuilder questions, and if you get one wrong, you have to crack an egg on your head, or you need to pour a scoop of protein powder on your, you know, and I was like, you're kidding me. And they're throwing money, $100 a day, $3,000 a month. I didn't make $3,000 a month when I first started this business. Quite some time before I was profiting $3,000 a month when I first started. So like that's really nice to get started and to be learning a skill like that. Even if you just dump all that money into your advertising, that's great. So long-winded answer for Shopify. Shopify, huge topic of conversation by everyone at CoCreate.
The people that is giving away the money the users that are seeing the live stream, they give the money to the streamers. But like, do they give the money for them to do something like give you 50 cents and you throw an egg on your hair?
Some of them do that.
Some of them is just because they want.
They just want to support.
I'm trying to think.
It's a tip jar.
It's a tip jar.
Just think of it as a tip jar. Yeah,
Wow.
just think of it as a tip jar. And just like a tip jar, not being crude, guys, there's certain tip jars for certain people that seem to get more tips.
Sure.
Right. So, like, but it's a tip jar. That's all it is. It's you got this person. I got this person that plays the guitar outside of my Publix, and he's there like every night, and he's doing it. You see it sometimes in the subways, but I'm convinced this guy outside of my Publix has a much more stress-free life than I do. Every time I look at him, but he's got a tip jar there, and it's always full of stuff. It's always full of. It's no different than if he was just live streaming it. It would be virtual money that'd be throwing at this guy. It's very real, and they're paying a lot of money.
So for brands, you can make money out of the live stream.
Look, just because you
have
have a brand doesn't mean you need to go super corporate about it. I think that's a mistake a lot of people make. So if you have a soda brand, I'm not sure that I would have my Coca-Cola live stream unless you're bringing in some really entertaining people or you're known. I think that's a mistake. People put their business logo and like super corporate this thing. Just because you have a business doesn't mean you can't also have a personality and things that you like. Like you're super into fitness and stuff like that, and if she has a brand, I'm sure her brand is going to be in line with that sort of thing. So if she's doing it and you know, come along, I'm going to do the mud runner. You know what I mean? Or something like that.
For TikTok, it's so informal. I don't know if you guys have a video of it's a Chinese girl who sold in 1 week $18 million.
What?
And she
No, it's unreal.
will go and show product. It will be like,
Oh, I've seen, I saw that, I remember, yeah.
and I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a lie. No, she did sell, $18 million. So no, every time anything, she will do whatever.
But I don't know how you can see it. She goes like this.
She has like 500
Guys, we can't compare with those. With that type of scenario, in
If 3 people buy it from me, I'll get, I don't know, $2 as an affiliate. So she's not even paying for ads or for anything to show me, to have me selling her product. And I have a little small audience. Who knows me? I'm not a big influencer, but I can sell it. And I can sell it as a cap.
Absolutely.
That happens with anybody that has more than 1,000 followers. Now, if you multiply that for, I don't know, you may get 10 million, 1 million followers, like 10,000 even. You can make money that way. And TikTok Shop is just, I mean, amazing. When you get close in 3 days,
Yeah.
stop in 3 days. And the good thing is, in Instagram, you're there. You get the link, you go to Amazon. On TikTok, you get the
Right
link,
there.
add to cart, and continue watching video.
Yeah, it's a really good. I agree with you. I'm seeing that same thing. We're about to.
And then, I'm sorry, and then
Yeah.
non-processing part, you have to dispute it with your credit card.
See. Yeah, I agree. No, the majority of people do buy on TikTok.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see the growth. I still have to, and I want to go there and also another thing that I've seen is that Amazon platform is kind of like getting old.
Yeah, old people.
Not all people, but I get like, yeah, I've seen it. TikTok is more dynamic.
Yeah.
The listing, the things, just like, okay, I'm going there, I buy. You were not paying attention too much to the title. No, you just want to see other people wearing the product. And
Yeah.
you want best than having someone web showing it live. Like,
Yeah.
I love this.
No, I'm in agreement with you. Yeah, and most people like that look at this stuff on TikTok, they buy it on TikTok. It's actually a small percentage, but it's still a meaningful percentage that will go over to Amazon. But most still do. They just buy it directly from TikTok. The one thing we're going to do is on this stream we use a software like Ecamm that you see here that allows us to tie the stream into YouTube. It doesn't let us stream into TikTok. So we just found a workaround. I think it's using this clip to where we're going to start doing I'm just curious, like we're going to start streaming on TikTok on a totally separate channel these meetups. So we'll see what comes of it. But looking at this and I'm like if they throw 3 roses at me, that's 60 cents more. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be fun. Like I'll show you guys like what we could do. We might even be able to do something where someone's going to be demoing a product and that person it's selling on TikTok. I don't know. We're going to do some fun stuff
Do we need to bring eggs?
with it, huh?
Do we need to bring eggs?
We might bring eggs. Gino and I might do eggs and protein powder. Yeah.
About roses, do you know if the majority of the people doing that are one-time or returning viewers? Or do you have a guess?
I don't know. I would say
Not only like the shopping, but like just like in general, if you're doing the live streams, telling jokes,
yeah. I think
or is it just so much traffic that?
I don't know. It makes me want to say that I think if you're going to buy something, even if it's for 20 cents, and you're going to contribute it, that you've probably seen the person before that you want to send it to. But there's probably also, it could be something like, I don't know, so I have a problem that's in the snoring realm, and Bruce and his team get up there and they say something about snoring that really solves it. Doesn't solve it for me. It solves the problem for my wife, that I'm no longer going to have to deal with that, not deal with her, deal with her snoring. It's worth a few roses to me, and I really love that. And you know, if I connect with that person that way, I'd send on the first time, like that's just great. There are some people who, like I've always been, I'm a really good tipper. For some reason, I'll tip really, really good. And I like any interaction that I've been in, if I feel like if I left enriched by it, I want to make sure that I can reciprocate. And if it's someone on a stream, that might be my only way to really reciprocate and show appreciation. I may never go back. But I bought a pack of these things, and I may not have donated all $10 to that person, but now I have an easy way to support creators. And there are some people that just like to support, like Kickstarter type people, the people that are on Kickstarter, they just like supporting campaigns. There are some people that are out there like that. And you'd be surprised, like we're interesting people. and people like to hear what you got to say, and you start talking about it, and people support it. TikTok's also really good at saying, well, if these are the types of people that like this person and the types of stuff that he does, we know where those people are at, and they'll expose it to them. So there's a lot at play there.
I was thinking around the live streams on Facebook, so how they work. Some guys are doing like a walk, they call it like a walk. So two influencers got in one live stream, and they are calling their people to get them the rose or the hat.
Oh, yeah.
Or the storm.
Yeah, support your influencer. Like, who do you support the most and who makes more? But everybody contributing is boosting the algorithm and getting them both more. So it has like Twitch. On Twitch, you can support your person. I'm not even going to share how much I've supported to like my favorite Call of Duty player on Twitch over the years. But like, yeah, people do that. There seems to also be a feature that I just unlocked on my TikTok, which is subscription. So I can, no one's subscribing to me, but like right now, but like I have this feature that apparently if I turn it on and you're like, I want to subscribe to Carlos's stuff, you're on this monthly recurring thing that goes to the Carlos Bank. And I don't know, I say, you have a special badge that shows up next to your username when you're on one of my streams. I don't know, but it's gamified a lot, and it's not like it's a big amount. It's 20 cents, but it's 20 cents across millions of people. So it's cool. I think it's something that if you can justify it, should fit into it. Alibaba has shop local. This is something they're really expanding. If you go into Alibaba and you're looking to buy some stuff, use the filter, which is shop local, and there's a lot of warehouses being purchased in the US where they're storing goods from these suppliers that people buy frequently.
Oh, I noticed that with something else.
Yes, so you don't need to deal with importing it from China, it's already here. Local returns is another one that's getting really big. So one of the concerns about shopping on Alibaba is the return process, which is usually non-existent. Now it is. You can filter for it, and if they have the badge, when you're buying from your supplier, it could be a container of goods. There's a local area where you can just have your goods sent and get a full return process done. It's looking really good. So a lot of the friction that's involved there with buying from China is being removed. Highly recommend it. Funding for our business. We're always looking for money. Buy now, pay later is a feature they've gone really heavy into. I don't have it from memory. I do know when I looked at it and I compared it to all the other lenders in the Amazon space, which are quite high already. When I looked at all of those, it was like 50% lower than what was being offered. It's not coming close to beating your bank. I mean, at the end of the day, if you can go to your bank and you can get a line of credit, go to your bank and get a line of credit. But it's kind of like the chicken and the egg thing with a lot of us for our businesses. You start your business and you go in there and you want this big line of credit for your business, but you have no sales. So it can be tricky in the beginning. But buy now, pay later, they're going to go really heavy into it, but I think it's also partly, total guess on my part, I think it's partly an answer of they can't completely control how the prices are going to need to go up in certain areas because of tariffs, but they'd like to be able to say, hey, what we can do is we can not make it as impactful on your cash flow. So is what they're doing, which tariffs or no tariffs or whatever the case may be, that's always been a pain point in China where a lot of the times if you buy something from anywhere in the US, one of the things they send you to fill out is like a terms. Terms, right word, right? Yeah, terms. Why am I feel like I'm getting that word wrong? The terms is how long to pay. No, I'm getting it wrong. It's terms, like if net term, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, you can pay later. That's kind of non-existent in China. So it's really hard when you're placing a big order for some containers. You got to pay 30 to 40% up front and the remaining balance, and then wait 45 days between the water and clearing customs and all this other jazz. That's hard on a business. So it seems like with almost every supplier right now, if you use this program, you're going to be able to get terms. take advantage of, there's some pretty cool services out there too that you can extend those terms just using your credit card smartly. Tom's an expert in that, but like for wholesale stuff, we'll get 30 to 60 day terms with our supplier that we're buying from, and then we'll use like which is the American Express that we would use, the green one, Sapphire? Is it the Sapphire? No. The blue one, the Emerald. There's one of those American Express that you can use that will give you an additional 30 to 60 days terms that you can use. So next thing you know, you got this inventory pretty much for 120 days, and you can pay the thing in full at the end. So it really opens some opportunities to help with your cash flow with that pay later. Highly recommend. This is the last one I have as far as a major takeaway. I don't know if it's because everybody was talking about TikTok or if it was unrelated, but obviously if you're talking about TikTok, you're talking about video and video creation. Everybody was getting on the wagon of making money on the side, complementing your business or bringing someone in-house in your business as a UGC creator, making money as an Amazon influencer, and making money as a TikTok creator. So we started off talking a lot about one of the models to sell on Amazon to start is retail arbitrage. I struggle to recommend it anymore, even though full transparency, like that's without it, I don't know if I would have fully gotten started. But obviously Amazon really frowns upon it. There's a lot of IP complaints. There's a lot of drama that's there. But it involves you going to the store, scanning a product, saying, oh, I can get it for $5, and on Amazon it sells for 20. And in a perfect world, I know I'm glossing over this, guys, but in a perfect world, you list this thing on Amazon, you sell it, and you get 100% profit. And you're just buying it from the store, and you're flipping it on Amazon. That's all you're doing. Amazon now is very brand focused. Brands don't like their items appearing at all these different prices on Amazon. So I struggle to recommend that as a business anymore, besides you getting up, driving around Miami all day, scanning a product, putting it in your cart, and putting it in your house, and then loading it into inventory. Then it's very manual. So when we heard about the Amazon Influencer Program, which is pretty much just record a short video of all the stuff you have around your house, post it on Amazon for the product, and anytime the product sells and someone looked at your video, Amazon pays you a percentage. That's flipping amazing. So there's a lot of people in the group here that are making thousands of dollars per month doing that. It's much easier for me to recommend that to somebody. Not to say that it's not work, but I mean, just for something like this, you'd do a video of that Velcro tape, you do a video of the cable, you do a video of the rod, a video of the plug, a video of the camera, a video of the There's a whole bunch of videos that get made out of this. And there are a whole bunch of opportunities for you to be able to make a commission off of it when it sells. One of the big friction points with that, though, is it's fairly easy to get approved, unless you're Ting. It's fairly easy, I'm just playing with it. We figured it out. It's fairly easy to get approved as an Amazon influencer. And then it's a bit trickier to get unlocked for monetization, which is to make sure, right. With TikTok, no issues. No issues whatsoever. Creating content, I think it's the easiest place to get thousands of followers. Like we just started ours, I think 3 months ago, and we're like 13,500, talking about stories, which personally like, but everyone can talk about stories. And now, anytime we talk about a product and we want to link to it in a store, we make a commission off of that for really no extra work. And some of those commissions are pretty crazy on what they'll pay you. So it's a cool way to make money. So I recommend that. What I'm saying is most of the people that Creator Connect are also embracing this model. So this isn't this isolated thing anymore that we're the only ones that know about it. It's a very mainstream business model now that you can do. So for those of you that were hoping to turn this into a more full-time business on the creator side, it looks like there's a lot of legs on this. Go for it. Any questions on anything that I've shared?
Can I do my own product? If you're an Amazon influencer and make your own work.
No, you can't review your own product.
Okay, and the other thing is people on Fiverr that get hired to do those videos, isn't that, I saw something where that's actually people are getting in trouble because you're technically paying per
No, you can't pay for a product review, but you can pay to send your product to someone for them
And
to
give an
review it.
influencer video, so that's not, you can't get in trouble for that, right?
No, you're allowed to do that. You can send an influencer a video. I mean, the influencer's not allowed, the influencer's allowed to leave a review if they're in possession of the product.
No, I'm saying, so you can make a video and someone would pay for that with tech, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you can't do an AI
Right.
video of that. You can't go through Home Depot and just start holding products up and start reviewing it, even though you'll see some doing that and making good money right now. You're not supposed to get this chair and do 20 reviews on or one video on this, but post it on the 20 listings that are on there, as if you reviewed 20 different products. Yeah, but you can totally, you can't do your own product. You're not supposed to do a friend's product, but you can totally send your product to someone so they can leave a review. It's supposed to be a fair, unbiased, and honest review. Something tells me, though, that if the guy wanted $50 to do it and he left a negative review, you'd want a refund. So it just seems to be every time you pay someone to do a video review of your product, it's always 5 stars. So there's a weird place there. Maybe they come down on it in the future, but since it's not a product review at the top of the page on Amazon, then it seems to be like there's no rules against it.
Right.
Yeah. Any questions on any of it? Can you go into more specifics as to what was shared about UGC at the conference? Yeah, that if your brand is not doing UGC, you are leaving a lot of money on the table, that your launches are going to be significantly more expensive, that social media, the social media strategies of just taking a picture and posting, can't had such a good time, or some random Confucius quote from Canva. Those days have passed, and short, looking authentic UGC type videos are working amazing on social media. I can vouch for that. I think our smallest videos, when we post something, gets like 1,500 views within the first week. That I would say is garbage. But yeah, we talked about different UGC strategies depending on the category.
What does it stand for?
User-generated content. So UGC, good question, I should have started with that. User-generated content, and that just means content created that's not from the brand. So if Candice was going to review our gummy mix, her video would be a user-generated content. One of the strategies that seems to make sense and that I can vouch for as well is if you do, say, have gummy mix and you're doing a brand on, if you're doing user-generated content videos on gummy mix, the majority of your videos should not be of the mix. It should be something else that's kind of like, say you're doing, like for example for me with the gummy mix, I'd be doing it because I wanted a way for parents to be able to make gummies for their kids without having to accept all the sugar that comes into the gummies, so they can do healthier ones. I might also want to do another one, which is so people can put the dose they want of CBD in their gummies that they make at home, whatever that's going to be. But at the end of the day, the first one would be more about health, because I don't want to do sugar because I want health. So my content should be more about health and talking about health. It doesn't have to be constantly about, UGC videos about the actual product. And the other one with CBD, again, would be talking about maybe, pain management, sleeping better, whatever that angle is, but speak more to the destination.
Benefits.
Huh?
The benefits.
The benefits, and less about the actual product. Yeah. Cool. Anything else?
Paul, have you ever experienced shopping sourcing from Turkey?
Sourcing from Turkey. Oh yeah, absolutely.
What do you call Turkey people? What do you think?
What do I think about Turkey people?
Yeah. Do you trust them to buy Turkish? Sorry. Do you trust to do business with them?
I think there's like a level of I think there's a level of trust that you have to have everywhere, but if we're doing business, it has nothing to do with whether I trust you or not. I mean, to a degree, but having said that, since I know this is not what you mean by it, but since we're kind of like pitting, I'm kind of like evaluating a whole country and a whole people here in business off of it. I feel the need to kind of say, I've been screwed over more by American companies, my own companies here in the US than I have in China and everywhere else combined. And I think most people, especially business owners, are not out to screw anyone. Most of the time when someone feels screwed over at the end, it's a breakdown of communication probably amongst both parties. Someone didn't set expectations right. I have a lot of friends from Turkey. As a matter of fact, my right hand across all of my businesses, Khan, he's Turkish. He's not Khan. But is Khan, he's from Turkey. I know a lot of, my main videographer's from Turkey. I think Turkey's great.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have any specific country or anything that I feel like I trust less than, and that's not just to be politically correct. I just don't. I feel like I'm just people, humans. I'm good at evaluating, and some of them I can trust, and some of them I can't trust, and I usually pick that up pretty fast. But on the business side of things, I want to see, can we do good business? You know, I'm probably not gonna. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that made sense. Yeah. All right, we went a little over. Hope you really liked it. Altogether, I would definitely return to CoCreate. I've been re-invited to go speak, so at least I did good there. I'll do a much better job at promoting it out to everybody. Carmen was also at the event, so anybody that sees her can also ask her for feedback from the event. But I thought it was great. It was at the Paris Hotel, which was beautiful. The event got so big this year that they're looking for a bigger venue, so they might do Mandalay Bay next year. Only downside to this whole trip was I've realized I've hit an age that red eyes are no longer a thing that I really care for anymore.
He said that every year.
This was it though. Like
Yeah.
the other, I'm okay with a red eye if it's lie flat. But we did the whole front of the bus thing, and those things don't really lie that flat on this one that I was on, and I left with all kind of desires for a chiropractor, and I was not happy. Yeah, I was not happy. The other thing is I just can't believe I used to smoke, but the cigarette smoke from down in the casino just did something to my sinuses and had me get some kind of infection. But again, probably just because of my age. But besides that, it was great. So I recommend it next year. I look forward to traveling there next year with you, and I look forward to seeing everybody next week. Cool.
What happened to the mic?